we will put, and we'll come back for space news. I'm going to put on a remarkable flying machine, because you know why? It's April 12th. Anniversary, first of all, Yuri's night, Yuri Gagarin, the first person in space on the Vostok 1 mission. And second of all, STS-1, April 12th, 1981. First flight of the space shuttle. So you get a remarkable flying machine
Sunday,
for
April 12th,
your break movie today.
Space Center, Florida.
Here we go. I'll be back in a little bit.
14 stories high, 2,000 tons, poised on the pad for its maiden flight. This is Columbia, the spaceship that will orbit the Earth. Its external tank, it holds over 500,000 gallons of fuel for Columbia's 3 main engines. And the solid rocket boosters, the largest ever used on any launch vehicle and the first to be employed in a U.S. manned flight. At liftoff, the solid rocket boosters, together with the 3 main engines, will unleash more than 6.5 million pounds of thrust needed to launch the world's first reusable spacecraft. Never before has a winged vehicle been launched like a rocket, orbited the Earth, returned through frictional heating in excess of 2,500 degrees, and landed, still aerodynamically sound, to be launched again and again. If it succeeds, the space shuttle will truly be a remarkable flying machine. There are many other goals to be reached during the 54.5-hour mission that lies ahead. 144 test objectives are planned for the flight. These objectives could not be achieved without an astronaut crew. The commander, John Young. The pilot, Robert Crippen. Young has already been in space 4 times for a total of 533 hours. He is the most experienced astronaut flying today. Although Crippen has over 4,000 hours of jet aircraft flying time, this will be his first time in space. The astronauts make their way across the access arm toward the shuttle in the pre-dawn hours before launch. An American spaceship has never carried a human crew on its maiden voyage. At the Launch Control Center, 3 miles from the pad, final steps are being completed in the countdown. Final preparations are also being made in the Mission Control Center in Houston, where control of the flight will switch once the shuttle clears the tower. There has not been a manned launch from Kennedy Space Center since the Apollo-Soyuz test project in July of 1975. With this launch, Young and Crippen, launch controllers at the Cape, and flight controllers in Houston will experience the most dynamic, fast-paced series of launch events ever undertaken in the space program, all in less than 9 minutes. The most challenging ascent profile ever to be flown by a space vehicle. Photographers, film and television crews, plus newspaper and magazine writers from around the world, nearly 2,700 of them are here to cover the launch. In addition, approximately 600,000 spectators line the coastal area near the Kennedy Space Center. Arriving by every mode of transportation, they have come from every state in the Union and many foreign countries. Promise of a rebirth in America's manned space program and the dawn of a new era in space transportation awaits.
14, 13, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. Roll program. Go.
Roger, roll.
The roll will put the shuttle on its precise heading toward an imaginary target in space.
Roll program complete.
Roger, roll complete.
They get a status. Vital. Go. Booster. Go. GNC. Go. Eagle. Go. Go at 40, Capcom.
Columbia, Houston, you're go at 40.
The shuttle is now 40 seconds into flight.
Roger, Columbia, on the nice ride. You're lofting a little bit. You'll probably be slightly high at staging.
Negative seats.
Columbia, you're negative seats.
Should anything go wrong, the shuttle is now too high for the astronauts to use their ejection seats.
Columbia, you're go for SRB step.
We see SRB step flight. Roger, on a step.
103 converge flight.
Bet. Capcom, let's tell them all the calls are going to be a tad early because of the hot first stage.
Columbia, you're looking a little hot. All your calls will be a little early.
Okay. And that looks good here.
Stand by, press to MECO.
Columbia, stand by. Press to MECO.
Mark it.
Mark, press for MECO.
Roger, press for MECO.
The shuttle can now continue toward MECO, main engine cutoff.
They like the VAP, Eagle. ECOM.
Let's go, flight.
Capcom, VAPs go. Stand by, negative return.
Columbia, stand by for negative return.
Mark it.
Mark, negative return. And your evap is good.
Outstanding. Sure is. We can confirm it. What a view. What a view.
And single engine rota flight.
And Columbia, your single engine rota.
Columbia can land safely at the Naval Air Station in Rota, Spain, even if 2 of the 3 main engines should fail. Right now, the engines are generating over 42 million horsepower.
MECO 25, 6,
MECO.
0, up at 220.
Roger, MECO. And we got MECO confirmed. MECO
Roger,
confirmed,
Columbia,
and it's
MECO.
right on the money, nominal.
Main engine cutoff. Columbia is now in space, traveling over 18,000 miles per hour.
Okay, we got set.
Roger, we confirm the step, Columbia.
The external tank has just been jettisoned and is now falling away from the shuttle back toward Earth. The tank will break up as planned over the Indian Ocean when it comes into contact with the atmosphere. Shortly, by firing the OMS, Orbital Maneuvering System engines, Columbia will achieve orbit. Then one of the most important tests of the mission will be attempted, opening the payload bay doors. The doors must be opened before the end of the 6th orbit to expose the space radiator cooling system. If the radiators cannot be exposed, heat collected from the onboard electronics cannot be released, and the astronauts will have to return home. The OMS burns are successful. Columbia is now in orbit, circling the Earth at an altitude of approximately 150 miles. The payload bay doors will now be opened.
Okay, the port door's coming open now.
Roger, copy.
Well, you're missing one fantastic sight. Boy, that is really beautiful out there.
We appreciate those updates.
Both doors have been opened. The radiators can be deployed to begin dissipating the heat.
The doors are all opened up and hunky-dory. Glad to deploy right on time.
And the radiators look good.
Okay, we want to show you our own pods here. We do have a few tile missing off of both of them, off of the starboard pod, 3 tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod. Looks like I see one full square and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now.
Roger, Crip, we can see that good.
From what we can see of both wings, tops and leading edges, though, all those are fully intact.
Within minutes, an assessment is completed on the impact these missing tiles could have on the remainder of the mission. At a news conference later in the day, Flight Director Neil Hutchison answers questions from reporters.
Well, you asked me if I knew where there were any other tiles that might be loose. The answer is no. And quite frankly, we're not worried about any other tiles being loose.
At this writing, is there anything at all that would lead you to say you might not go for a full duration mission?
Nothing.
Columbia, Houston, you guys did so good, we're going to let you stay up there for a couple of days. Your gopher on orbit.
Spacecraft wants to go for on orbit. This thing is just performing just outstanding.
Roger, we agree with that. And Columbia, Houston, just for your information, you dropped those SRBs right on target, and they were floating just the way they ought to be, and the boats were getting ready to fish them and bring them back.
Okay. The ride that they gave us was pretty neat.
The solid rocket boosters, which separated from the Columbia as planned 2 minutes 11 seconds into the flight, landed on target in the Atlantic Ocean, 151 miles downrange from the launch site. After being towed back to Kennedy Space Center, both boosters will be refurbished and used again in a future shuttle flight. The third and fourth OMS burns are also successful, raising Columbia's orbit to an altitude of approximately 172 miles. For the first television transmission from inside the spacecraft, the crew will give a status report on the mission.
The flight so far has gone as smooth as it could possibly go. We've done every test that we're supposed to do, and we're up on the timeline, and the vehicle has just been performing beautifully, much better than anyone ever expected to do on a first flight, and no systems are out of shape. And it's delightful up here in zero gravity, might add. Of course, we owe this to a lot of people, and we certainly want to thank everyone who has helped get this thing airborne, and can take great pride in it's doing so well right now. Okay, we're switching over to the aft camera here. I'd like to echo John's words as I usually do. I guess being the so-called rookie on this flight, I had a thrill from the moment of liftoff all the way up to what we're doing now. It's really been super. The spacecraft has worked as advertised all the way along. I think we've got something that's really going to mean something to the country and the world. This vehicle is performing like a champ, like all of us that have worked so long on it knew that you would.
Okay, sir, we appreciate those comments.
I guess that does it.
That was a good time, and I think you must have practiced. We're just about to lose your ghost song.
Just accident.
Just accident, says Robert Crippen. None of the other events of the day have been accidental. Every test, liftoff, SRB separation and recovery, ET separation and impact, 4 OMS burns, payload bay door latch opening and closing tests, radiator latch deploy and stowing tests have all been successful.
I guess we owe you guys one super attaboy for today. This is fantastic. You worked through a pretty long, hard day, and you're essentially right on schedule, which is going to be close to being a first sort of spaceflight biz, I think, for first day activities. It's sure been fun working with you today, and we look forward to seeing you in the morning. I hope you get a good night's rest.
Okay, you guys did super work today. See you mañana.
Roger, thank you. See you tomorrow, guys.
Well, many, many hours job well done by the shuttle space team. We can't say that she's sleek and lean, but I'll tell you right now, she's a mean machine. The Columbia, not the kind you smoke. This here's a bird.
Morning, Columbia. Welcome to day 2.
All right. Appreciate that super wake-up music this morning. Well, we sure enjoyed it. Missing a good breakfast.
Today, the astronauts will test onboard systems and also review procedures for tomorrow's landing. A test of the flight control system is conducted by John Young. The flight control system operates Columbia's aerosurfaces, the elevons, body flaps, rudder, and speed brake. These surfaces are useless in the vacuum of space, but will be essential tomorrow when the shuttle lands. This will require precision maneuverability, which the aerosurfaces provide. Payload bay door cycling tests help ensure that latching and closing procedures can also be done before entry tomorrow. As with every mission, many pictures of the Earth are taken by the astronauts. Over 500 on this first shuttle flight. Active volcanoes, cloud formations, alluvial fans, giant whirlpools over 15 miles in diameter, sand dunes 1,500 feet high, running unbroken for hundreds of miles. The high Himalayas, where mountain peaks reach 24,000 feet. And one of the most remarkable space photographs ever taken of the Earth, an area in Iran exposed to wind erosion, which has resulted in these breathtaking silt and sandstone formations that look more like a painting than a desert. After lunch on the second day, the astronauts receive a phone call from the Vice President of the United States, George Bush.
How's it going up there? Everything rocking along all right?
Spaceship is just performing beautifully.
Well, it's great, and everybody views it, I'm sure, just as the forerunner of great things to come. I think your trip is just going to ignite the excitement and the forward thinking from this country, so I really just wanted to call up and wish you the very best.
We certainly appreciate it, Mr. Vice President.
The crew also don and check out the ejection suits they will wear during entry. Young, Crippen, and Columbia pass every test. They are ready for the final phase of the mission, entry and landing. April 14th, 1981. NASA's Dryden Flight Research Center on the edge of Rogers Dry Lake Bed in California. A recovery convoy of 24 vehicles and more than 100 personnel are assembling here to power down Columbia after landing. Enormous crowds are also beginning to arrive. A string of traffic 6 miles long waits to enter the base. Thousands more are already here. Close to 1/2 million people will eventually be on hand to see the landing. On board, the astronauts suit up for entry. The ascent and orbital phases of the mission have gone extremely well. Now the final phase must be completed. Before that begins,
Columbia, you have a go for payload bay door closing.
the doors, which have been open a total of 47 hours during the flight, must now be closed. Then, using the RCS thrusters, Columbia will maneuver into deorbit burn attitude, head down and backwards, fire the OMS engines one last time, and descend into the Earth's atmosphere.
Nice and easy does it, John. We're all riding with you.
Columbia is out of contact during the OMS burn. Mission Control will not know if this burn was successful until they are in communication with the spacecraft over Australia. It is now over the Indian Ocean on the other side of the world. But from that distance, the burn must be precise, so that later, Columbia will hit the lake bed target in California.
Columbia, this is Houston through Yargady. We're standing by.
Burn was on time at nominal reserve 110.
Columbia is now committed to entry. With an RCS post-burn maneuver and several firings, it is oriented to a heads-up, nose-first attitude headed toward entry interface. This is where the atmosphere begins, at approximately 400,000 feet.
John, we copied,
From that moment until the shuttle reaches 165,000 feet, it will be in communication blackout, out of touch with mission control for almost 20 minutes. The landing site is almost 4,400 miles from entry interface. Chase planes are preparing to take off. One will call out altitudes and check Columbia for any damage just prior to landing. When the shuttle touches down here, it will be traveling at 216 miles per hour. Right now it's going more than 17,000 miles per hour. Before it lands, it must slow down, lose energy, and it must survive the intense heat caused by traveling through the atmosphere at such a high rate of speed. Several S-turns or roll reversals are used to slow down and maneuver Columbia through the atmosphere. This one is done at 256,000 feet when it is traveling at more than 26 times the speed of sound. This one is done at 208,000 feet. During these two roll reversals, entry heating is most severe, with temperatures reaching 2,500 degrees some places on the vehicle. The aluminum skin will melt at 320 degrees. The silicate tiles must insulate the vehicle from the tremendous heat. Since there is no test facility on Earth to simulate the aerodynamic and structural environment Columbia is in right now, only calculations could be used to predict what would happen during this phase of the flight. The predictions and calculations had to be right.
Hello there, Houston, Columbia's here.
Hello, Columbia, Houston's here. How do you read?
Plan clear, and we're doing Mach 10.3 at 180 AS.
And we couldn't agree more, John. Your state vector's good. We've got good data in-house.
Okay.
The entry trajectory, velocity, and position look good. Columbia is heading for home, now only 470 miles away.
More left RCS, but okay.
Right, we're showing a roll. And John, we're showing you rolling right. Looking good.
Right, I'm on roll.
We're showing him crossing the coastline flat.
Columbia, we show you crossing the coast now.
Right, yeah. We can go.
The shuttle is first sighted at about 100,000 feet with a long-range camera from Anderson Peak, California.
What a way to come to California.
In flat paddle, I still look perfect right on the nominal.
Roger that. Out of 112K, 4.8 Mach.
We're seeing this in a row.
We see Del as 21 degrees.
A roll reversal is done over Bakersfield, California.
Oh, that's beautiful. Trace has a tally. Roger, checking.
And we're seeing 1.3 Gs coming around the hack.
Roger that.
The astronauts are making the final turn to line up with the runway.
Columbia, you're really looking good. Right on the money. Right on the money. And turning on to final, your winds on the surface are calm.
Back on the wind.
You're right on the glide slope, Columbia.
Yeah, clear, John. Looks real good underneath. Everything looks real good.
Chase reports no tile or other damage is evident underneath the shuttle. Columbia's altitude is now just over 5,000 feet.
Pretty clear.
Without power, Columbia must land. It cannot make another attempt.
You're coming. You're down. Feet. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown. Those gears, 10. 5, 4, 3, touchdown. Hook 'em off, skipper.
Columbia's on the roller.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful.
You'll have to take it up to hangar, Joe.
We're going to dust it off first.
This is the world's greatest all-electric flying machine, I'll tell you that. It was super.
Okay, convoy's on its way.
Convoy on. We'll stop on the Columbia. We'll stop.
The maiden voyage of Columbia has been a success. The astronauts and the vehicle have met or exceeded all 144 flight test objectives. The integrity of all the systems, propulsion, avionics, structural, flight control, power, and thermal, have been affirmed. John Young's comments after returning home.
I can't tell you what a tribute that is to the American working man and the American working woman, too. You can't imagine the variety of people who worked on this vehicle, from all walks of life, all capabilities and limitations. It's all due to their individual efforts. They proved that they can do the job. They proved it for the world to see. And I'm mighty proud to be associated with folks like that.
What a tribute indeed. The Columbia represents an achievement in aerospace technology and development never before realized in the history of manned spaceflight. It is our basic building block for the future.
It's what we've been trying to do for the last 10 years. We've got a vehicle with a payload performance that will allow us to do that, much cheaper than we've been able to do it before. It will immeasurably improve the defensive capability of the country. It will help develop space science and technology. When we get operational, the space shuttle will be able to do in 5 to 10 years what it would have taken us 20 to 30 years to do otherwise. We couldn't do it if we didn't have the space shuttle and that payload capability. And the sooner we do those things, the better off the country's going to be.
A revolutionary new era in space transportation has just begun. Routine access to space. Welcome to the future. Sunday, April 12, 1981. Kennedy Space Center, Florida. The Space Shuttle. 14 stories high, 2,000 tons, poised on the pad for its maiden flight. This is Columbia, the spaceship that will orbit the Earth. Its external tank. It holds over 500,000 gallons of fuel for Columbia's 3 main engines. And the solid rocket boosters, the largest ever used on any launch vehicle and the first to be employed in a U.S. manned flight. At liftoff, the solid rocket boosters, together with the 3 main engines, will unleash more than 6.5 million pounds of thrust needed to launch the world's first reusable spacecraft. Never before has a winged vehicle been launched like a rocket, orbited the Earth, returned through frictional heating in excess of 2,500 degrees, and landed, still aerodynamically sound, to be launched again and again. If it succeeds, the space shuttle will truly be a remarkable flying machine. There are many other goals to be reached during the 54.5-hour mission that lies ahead. 144 test objectives are planned for the flight. These objectives could not be achieved without an astronaut crew. The commander, John Young. The pilot, Robert Crippen. Young has already been in space 4 times for a total of 533 hours. He is the most experienced astronaut flying today. Although Crippen has over 4,000 hours of jet aircraft flying time, this will be his first time in space. The astronauts make their way across the access arm toward the shuttle in the pre-dawn hours before launch. An American spaceship has never carried a human crew on its maiden voyage. At the Launch Control Center, 3 miles from the pad, final steps are being completed in the countdown. Final preparations are also being made in the Mission Control Center in Houston, where control of the flight will switch once the shuttle clears the tower. There has not been a manned launch from Kennedy Space Center since the Apollo-Soyuz test project in July of 1975. With this launch, Young and Crippen, launch controllers at the Cape, and flight controllers in Houston will experience the most dynamic, fast-paced series of launch events ever undertaken in the space program, all in less than 9 minutes. The most challenging ascent profile ever to be flown by a space vehicle. Photographers, film and television crews, plus newspaper and magazine writers from around the world, nearly 2,700 of them are here to cover the launch. In addition, approximately 600,000 spectators line the coastal area near the Kennedy Space Center. Arriving by every mode of transportation, they have come from every state in the Union and many foreign countries. The promise of a rebirth in America's manned space program and the dawn of a new era in space transportation awaits.
14, 13, T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. Roll program. Go.
Roger, roll.
The roll will put the shuttle on its precise heading toward an imaginary target in space.
Roll program complete.
Roger, roll complete.
Status, Fido. Go. Booster. Go. GNC. Go. Eagle. Go. Go at 40, Capcom.
Columbia, Houston, you're go at 40.
The shuttle is now 40 seconds into flight.
Roger, Columbia, on the nice ride. You're lofting a little bit. You'll probably be slightly high at staging.
Negative seats.
Columbia, you're negative seats.
Should anything go wrong, the shuttle is now too high for the astronauts to use their ejection seats.
Columbia, you're go for SRB step.
We see SRB step flight.
Roger, on a step.
103 converge flight.
Bet. Capcom, let's tell them all the calls are going to be a tad early because of the hot first stage. Columbia, you're looking a little hot. All your calls will be a little early.
Okay. And that looks good here.
Stand by, press to MECO.
Columbia, stand by. Press to MECO.
Mark it.
Mark. Press for MECO.
Roger, press for MECO.
The shuttle can now continue toward MECO, main engine cutoff.
They like the VAP, Eagle. ECOM.
Let's go, flight.
Capcom, VAPs go.
Stand by, negative return.
Columbia, stand by for negative return.
Mark it.
Mark. Negative return. And your VAP is good.
Outstanding. Sure is. We can confirm it. What a view. What a view.
And single engine rota flight.
And Columbia, your single engine rota.
Columbia can land safely at the Naval Air Station in Rota, Spain, even if 2 of the 3 main engines should fail. Right now, the engines are generating over 42 million horsepower.
At MECO 25, 6,
MECO.
0, up at 220.
Roger, MECO.
And we got MECO confirmed.
MECO, Roger, Columbia, MECO. Right on the money, nominal.
Main engine cutoff. Columbia is now in space, traveling over 18,000 miles per hour.
Okay, we got set.
Roger, we confirm the step, Columbia.
The external tank has just been jettisoned and is now falling away from the shuttle back toward Earth. The tank will break up as planned over the Indian Ocean when it comes into contact with the atmosphere. Shortly, by firing the OMS, Orbital Maneuvering System engines, Columbia will achieve orbit. Then one of the most important tests of the mission will be attempted, opening the payload bay doors. The doors must be opened before the end of the 6th orbit to expose the space radiator cooling system. If the radiators cannot be exposed, heat collected from the onboard electronics cannot be released, and the astronauts will have to return home. The OMS burns are successful. Columbia is now in orbit, circling the Earth at an altitude of approximately 150 miles. The payload bay doors will now be opened.
Okay, the port door's coming open now.
Roger, copy.
Well, you are missing one fantastic sight. Boy, that is really beautiful out there.
We appreciate those updates.
Both doors have been opened. The radiators can be deployed to begin dissipating the heat.
The doors are all opened up and hunky-dory. Labs are deployed right on time.
And the radiators look good.
Okay, we want to show you our own pods here. We do have a few tile missing off of both of them. Off of the starboard pod, 3 tile and some smaller pieces, and off the port pod, looks like I see 1 full square and looks like a few little triangular shapes that are missing, and we're trying to put that on TV right now.
Roger, Crip, we can see that good.
From what we can see of both wings, tops and leading edges, though, all those are fully intact.
Within minutes, an assessment is completed on the impact these missing tiles could have on the remainder of the mission. At a news conference later in the day, Flight Director Neil Hutchison answers questions from reporters.
But you asked me if I knew where there were any other tiles that might be loose. The answer is no. And quite frankly, we're not worried about any other tiles being loose.
At this writing, is there anything at all that would lead you to say you might not go for a full duration mission?
Nothing.
Columbia, Houston, you guys did so good, we're going to let you stay up there for a couple of days. Your gopher on orbit.
Spacecraft wants GoPro on orbit. This thing is just performing just outstanding.
Roger, we agree with that. And Columbia, Houston, just for your information, you dropped those SRBs right on target, and they were floating just the way they ought to be, and the boats were getting ready to fish them and bring them back.
Okay. The ride that they gave us was pretty neat.
The solid rocket boosters, which separated from the Columbia as planned 2 minutes 11 seconds into the flight, landed on target in the Atlantic Ocean, 151 miles downrange from the launch site. After being towed back to Kennedy Space Center, both boosters will be refurbished and used again in a future shuttle flight. The 3rd and 4th Ohms burns are also successful, raising Columbia's orbit to an altitude of approximately 172 miles. For the first television transmission from inside the spacecraft, the crew will give a status report on the mission.
The flight so far has gone as smooth as it could possibly go. We've done every test that we're supposed to do, and we're up on the timeline, and the vehicle has just been performing beautifully, much better than anyone ever expected to do on a first flight, and no systems are out of shape. And it's delightful up here in zero gravity, might add. Of course, we owe this to a lot of people, and we certainly want to thank everyone who has helped get this thing airborne, and can take great pride in it's doing so well right now. Okay, we're switching over to the aft camera here. I'd like to echo John's words as I usually do. I guess being the so-called rookie on this flight, I had a thrill from the moment of liftoff all the way up to what we're doing now. It's really been super. The spacecraft has worked as advertised all the way along. I think we've got something that's really going to mean something to the country and the world. This vehicle is performing like a champ, like all of us that have worked so long on it knew that you would.
Okay, sir, we appreciate those comments.
I guess that does it.
That was a good time, and I think you must have practiced. We're just about to lose your goat song.
Just accident.
Just accident, says Robert Crippen. None of the other events of the day have been accidental. Every test, liftoff, SRB separation and recovery, ET separation and impact, 4 ohms burns, payload bay door latch opening and closing tests, radiator latch deploy and stowing tests have all been successful.
I guess we owe you guys one super attaboy for today. This is fantastic. You worked through a pretty long, hard day, and you're essentially right on schedule, which is going to be close to being a first sort of spaceflight biz, I think, for first day activities. It's sure been fun working with you today, and we look forward to seeing you in the morning. I hope you get a good night's rest.
Okay, you guys did super work today. See you mañana.
See you mañana.
Roger, thank you. See you tomorrow, guys.
Hang on, we gotta listen to the song.
Well, many, many hours end of this thing. A job well done by the shuttle space team. We can't say that she's sleek and lean, but I'll tell you right now, she's a mean machine. The Columbia, not the kind you smoke. This here's a bird.
Morning, Columbia.
All right. So that was a remarkable flying machine because you guys kind of watched it 1.5 times. Sorry, the traffic was terrible today. It's actually a nice day out, so everyone's outside, which means that my normal 15-minute drive to the restaurant and back now takes 45. You know, city. It's great. Yeah, it is very nice out. So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't anticipate that one. My bad. Anyway, so let's see what's going on in the world of space, shall we? How's the shoulder? I'm all right, Imperator. I'm all right. I did basically nothing but just lie down all weekend. Especially, don't worry about it, dude. I was just about making my job harder, dude. I was just giving you crap. Don't worry about that. No, it's fine. Yeah. We can talk about it, I guess. We try to focus on news that's not depressing, too. That's the other thing that I forgot to say. Yeah. The F1 race was fantastic. Yeah, very good. Grazie ragazzi, forza Ferrari. Yeah. It was pretty sweet, man. Okay, cool. Thanks again, guys. I understand a little bit better. Yeah, Darkstar, you were asking about shuttle radiators. So they radiate because you can't convect. You can't convect heat. No heat exchangers. But if the coolant gets exposed to the dark parts, so like i.e. something that's not in the sun, then the coolant will cool down a lot. But you got to be careful with heating on spacecraft because on one side, the side that's in the light, the side that's facing towards the light, it's way hotter, about a 200-degree difference between the dark and the light side of a spacecraft. What they did with the shuttle was they would turn the thermal protection system, the tiles, toward the sun, and that would keep the shuttle cool. And the radiators are facing away from the sun, and they would stay cool. They would stay nice and cold. That's what they had to do. You can't put the radiators in the sun, even though the shuttle had to do that from time to time. In the light. Yep. Controversial me. The claims and hopes that they had for the shuttle were frankly delusional. End of controversial you. Yeah, I mean, Swishio, you could say that. It's pretty easy to say in hindsight, though. That's something like, where was that take in 1975? I mean, we know that the shuttle wasn't a good idea because of the execution from the program. But if the program had been, what I've always said is that the program had been, if it had been executed a little bit differently, maybe, I don't know, don't try to develop the most complicated launch vehicle for a budget that's somewhere in line with Falcon 9s. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that, right? It's probably not a good idea. So, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, dude, that's all. So which way were the radiators facing when they were docking to the space station? And could they use the radiators on the space station to cool the shuttle down? Yes and yes. They would plug the shuttle in, T-Man. So they wouldn't power down the shuttle so much, but they would plug the shuttle in to the space station so the shuttle could tap off the space station's power so it could stay up there longer. Dragon does the same thing. Yeah. So without all the systems being on, there's less stuff to cool. So the shuttle can just be aligned. The payload bay, the thermal protection system was aligned with the V-bar. The V-bar of the space station. So like what you see on the screen. The space station is going that way in this picture. Yeah, this is the front of the space station. So in this way, the shuttle basically stays aligned to the space station, but since, you know, you're not all the systems aren't fully powered on the shuttle, right? They aren't fully powered on, so you don't need to use the radiators as much. The radiators will still work in the light. They will work correctly because you're being exposed to vacuum. The coolant is being exposed to vacuum. Well, pretty dang close to being exposed to vacuum. It's inside of a metal tube. But yeah, the shuttle could tap into the ISS's power. Yep. Dragon does the same thing. Yo, fresh Cape flyover. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yep, that's right. April 12th. Yuri Gagarin's first flight on Vostok 1 and STS-1. First flight of the space shuttle. Yep. Yeah, I mean, Kenteb, the shuttle was a good idea that went through probably the worst systems engineering that you could possibly have. The worst systems engineering variable that you could possibly have. You don't have enough budget for the project. So it's that whole crap mentality of doing, hey, let's do more with less. You know, oh, if I charge an extra cent for this, it's basically min-maxing NASA. If you try to min-max NASA like that with cost, you're going to end up with something that has problems. You're going to end up with a spacecraft that has more teething problems. It's just how it works. That's how any project works. Hey, Racer, what's going on? Think about it like this, okay? The president, so Nixon, told NASA to make a reusable vehicle, okay? He says the shuttle is like a semi-truck that drives into space, right? So let's look at a semi, right? Or a lorry or a ute or whatever the hell you want to call it. It doesn't matter. One of these. That's basically what the space shuttle does. It is one of those. It has a payload bay, which is the trailer, right? Trailer doesn't detach, obviously. And it flies it into space, and it can bring stuff back down, and the engines are attached to the back. It's basically that, okay? The executive branch in Congress said, make us this. Make us this for how much it cost to buy one of these. That's the problem. It's evident by the delays, the lack of research done on the tiles, and SRB blow-by, etc., etc. They basically gave them the budget for this and said, make that. I think they did pretty dang good given the circumstances, right? Right? I mean, this is a nice truck, right? It's my truck, right? It's a nice truck. It's okay, but it doesn't do what that does. No way. Not a chance. They basically said, build us a shuttle for capsule money. That's why that program got all screwed up. It was underfunded. And underfunding is just as bad as overfunding. I mean, overfunding, that would be nice, but overfunding creates waste. Underfunding dooms the project to fail from the start, you know? The payload detached, though, so it's sort of the same. Yeah, I guess. There's no need to be that technical on the analogy, but yeah, you get the idea. They basically gave him a Ferrari. They said build a Ferrari for the budget of a Volkswagen Beetle. You know what I mean? And I'd say given the circumstances, they got pretty damn close, you know? But they just needed to, if they just gave it a little bit more budget. But see, like, here's the thing. Here's the biggest problem, all right? So here, let me go Apollo, or let's go NASA funding. All right. Everybody's seen this graph, etc., you know, of funding of NASA, blah, 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 blah. This one right here, you know? So the reality of the situation, guys, and this is something that I've been reading about with cost and budget and whatever. The reality of the situation is that, so right here, there's this right there, these three right there, that's Project Mercury. And then in '63, they started Apollo and the Gemini program at the same time. Okay? That's what these 3 boosts are. You're starting one program, you're starting the Gemini program, right? And it's a lot of crash funding. You shifted Mercury's funding over to Gemini, right? And then the Apollo budget is in here somewhere, right? And Gemini stopped in 1966, right here. That was the end of the Gemini program, right there. Peak funding. Right? So NASA was running 2 manned spaceflight programs in 1966. They were running the Apollo program, and they were running Gemini, right? And then right here is basically the peak of Apollo funding in 67. We know from that report that we broke down a couple of weeks ago on Space News. Right there is peak Apollo funding, right? That's all the research and development. This is building the Saturn V, building the capsule, building all the facilities, etc., right? And then you get down to here, you get down to 69, Apollo's complete, right? You get to 1972, right here, Apollo program that, we've done it 6 times on the moon. Basically, the program was still running right here. It was still running just fine with this budget. Now, there's a reason for this, okay? The reason for this is that, look, by the time we landed on the moon, NASA's budget was half of what it was just a couple of years ago. Half. Why? Long story short, well, it takes time and it takes a lot of money to develop a spacecraft. Operating a spacecraft, that's nothing. That is nothing. That costs nothing compared to engineering and designing it. That's the hard part. That's the part that eats up the most amount of cost. So whenever you develop a new launch vehicle, you best be seeing a huge bell curve in funding. Because if you don't, you know that the project is doomed to fail from the start. Now, with that being said, take a look here. If this bell curve here represents like nominal funding for a project, well, the shuttle started in 1972 here. Look, where did they start? And they plateaued. They plateaued by 76, and then it went down even more. And by the time you made it to operational missions, it's basically flatlined. See that? There it is, right in funding, like numerical funding form, right there. See those 3? That's shuttle development right there. That's shuttle development. So the shuttle program started in 72, and it's not going to be Apollo it's not going to be Apollo complicated, but it's not going to be Gemini and Apollo complicated as well. What that should look like, NASA's funding should go up right here. It should go up. It should go up here, and then it should go down. Maybe even to like here for a second. Like it should go up there, and then by the time 1979 rolls around, it should go back down, right? Because think about it. Look, 1972, 71, 70, 69. These years right here, NASA's funding was getting axed, and they were still going to the moon, no problem. They were running operational missions, no problem. So anybody with half a brain would have looked at the shuttle program that knows a little bit about funding, would have looked at the shuttle program in 72, 73, 74, 75 and said, this is not going to work. And you know what the funny thing is? That's literally what Von Braun said. Von Braun said that. And he left NASA. He's like, this is a stupid idea. We should not do this. The Saturn rocket is all you need. It's all you're ever going to need for a long time. Saturn V, Saturn 1B, NASA can do everything they want to do with these. And they said, no, we got to use the shuttle. But the reality of the situation is that, honestly, he was right. He was right. He's the chief architect of the Apollo program. Of course he's right. Von Braun designed the Saturn V and the Saturn 1B in such a way that you could launch them once a year, you could launch them 4 times a year, and honestly, the cost wouldn't fluctuate that much because all the development had been paid for already. The VAB was built, the pads are built, the mobile launchers are built, everything is built. It's just producing new rockets. Rockets are relative. Once you start doing it, they're pretty easy to produce. Easy to produce, low cost to fly, comparatively to development. So, once again, you can look right here and see that the shuttle was basically doomed from the start. 74, 75, 76, flatlining budget. Wrong. Anybody that knew anything about NASA would know that that's not a good thing right there. Any comptroller or OMB would know that the shuttle's going to have a lot of teething problems. I can tell you right off the bat. Could it launch military sats though? Well, that's the thing, Phil. NASA knew they weren't going to get the money that they needed to make this thing, so they had the DoD get involved, and they tried to make one vehicle that does everything. And once the Department of Defense got on board, it changed the design specs of the vehicle, etc., and it ended up being they used that to bridge the funding, but you're still not getting enough. It still wasn't enough. And the budget never bounced up for replacements, I mean, look in 1986, NASA's budget was the lowest it had been since 1961. And you wonder why you started having problems. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look. There's a pattern here. The low points in funding are when failures happen. See what I'm saying? This is no good. You have to keep challenging yourself. Look at this boost in funding right there. That's when they did the Hubble repair missions and stuff. See what I'm talking about? The shuttles, in order for the shuttle to really work as advertised, this budget would have needed to at least been up here somewhere. And then it should have gone down by 1985. Like, it should have gone up here and down here, but they didn't do that. And then they wondered why they had problems with the damn thing. Once again, you can't design a Ferrari and build and drive around a Ferrari for Volkswagen Beetle money. It doesn't work that way. But once you get into operational missions, once you start flying more, and the more frequently you fly, that's relatively low cost comparatively. It doesn't cost anything compared to how much it costs to develop the vehicle, right? So NASA was foreseeing this damn vehicle to be, shuttle will be the end-all be-all for like the next 20 to 30 years, right? And you literally gave it the budget of the Gemini program. See, Swishio, that's the problem, okay? And that's the problem. That's where I'm having issues, because if you're gonna hone in on one thing that was wrong with the shuttle program, that's the problem. It was underfunded through development, and you underfunded. Nobody has the budget to do all the full extensive testing, and that's where you need to do it. You need to do it there. So later down the road, you can just have at it and fly it as many times as you freaking want to. Dude, they didn't even realize that the tiles might fall off in humid conditions because they designed the shuttle in California. Seriously, they glued the tiles on in California, they flew Columbia to Florida, and once it got to Florida, in the humid atmosphere, the tiles, which are porous rock, absorbed the water, and that water was a solvent to the glue, and the tiles fell off. How do you not do that type of analysis? And once again, it's easy to say in hindsight, but that shows kind of the mentality of what NASA was trying to do. They were trying to grow lemons with freaking sunflower seeds. You know what I mean? Like, those aren't even correlative to each other. That's the problem, dude. And this is why I'm so vocal about it, because I see the patterns not happening again. SLS is a little bit different, but Switchio, you want another good example? Take a look. Here. Look right here. See that bump right there? That would have been the start of ramping up Constellation right here. Right here. 2008, NASA's budget was slowly going to start to increase, and it would have gone up here for the Constellation program, maybe to about here, and then probably would have slowly ramped down over here. And you saw it started to go up, 03, Columbia happens, right? 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, up to 08, NASA's budget starts going up. And then the recession happens, and they underfund it. And then they underfund it again and again until they canceled it due to citing poor performance because they underfunded the program. They pulled the plug even before a Constellation could get off the ground, right here. See what I'm talking about? You can't underfund a space program. At the end of the day, this stuff costs money. It's going to cost money. You can't just design a lower cost rocket and not spend billions of dollars. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way. And you know who would agree with me on that is Elon Musk. He'd say the same thing. Guys, they poured billions of dollars into Falcon 9's development to get it to be reusable. billions. Like, it has to be. There's no way that that price isn't. Now, that doesn't mean that, SpaceX is some bloated defense contractor either. No, they're not. SpaceX has actually proven that, no matter what you do, it's going to take money, and even with their low launch costs, right? But see, I firmly believe that SpaceX is launching those Falcon 9 rockets at a loss, and that's not a bad thing. What the profit, so to speak, that they gained from it was learning how to make a fully reusable vehicle so they can make way more profit later. The thing about Falcon 9 is they spent billions of dollars learning how to do it so they could build something better. And when they build something better, that's when you'll see a return on investment. There was a similar strategy employed with another company that makes cars. I think they're called Edison Motors Company or whatever. Like cowboys and factories. No, that's exactly what Elon Musk did. They built the Roadster. Any profit from the Roadster, they built towards R&D for the Model S and production for the Model S. Once the Model S started making money, they dumped all of the money into Model 3 production, and then to scale up the industry, and now they're selling Model 3s like crazy, and then the Model X as well. Any profit that you made was dumped as equity right back into the company. Elon did the same thing with SpaceX. It's pretty obvious, right? He did the same exact thing. But at the end of the day, it still costs billions of dollars. It doesn't matter if it's private or if it's NASA. It still costs billions of dollars. Starship is going to cost billions of dollars to make. And Elon does specify a price point of $2 million per launch. That's after launching Starship a lot. But even then, it's still a hump to get over. You still need billions of dollars to develop that. It's not like they can just start it launching at a $2 million price point. It's not going to work that way. And that's not a bad thing. And once again, this isn't a knock towards SpaceX. The point that I'm trying to make is that you're going to need billions of dollars if you want to send something to the moon initially. Later down the road, you don't. Because operations are cheaper than development. NASA has a whole manual on this thing. It's NASA Systems Engineering Manual. You guys know all about that. I say it once a day. SpaceX doing the right thing. Investing Falcon 9 1.0. Then 1.1 worked fine. They tried to make it better, like you say. Better meaning cheaper in the long run. NASA built Shuttle 1.0, and it was expensive to run. They just stopped. Well, can't tell. The messed up part is that that's not entirely true. What they ended up doing is, from Columbia's orbital flight test, they ended up making a bunch of upgrades to Challenger that would have lowered the cost over the long term. Challenger was like 5 tons lighter than Columbia, and it does the same thing. So they moved to Shuttle 1.1. They really did. Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour are all Shuttle kind of 1.1. Enterprise and Columbia are Shuttle 1.0. And what they learned from Columbia, they applied to Challenger. And what they learned from Challenger, they applied to Discovery. And what they learned from Discovery, they applied to Atlantis. And from Atlantis to Endeavour. But they're all based off of Challenger's designs, not Columbia. They have 5,000 less tiles, for instance. So, yeah, they were starting to do it, and they were starting to ramp up. But Challenger happened, and they said no. They got cold feet, I agree with the premise of everything you're saying, but NASA budget graphed as a percentage of federal budget might be a little misleading. If you doubled spending elsewhere, it would look like you cut NASA in half. I have not once mentioned the federal budget at all, Zion, ever. Oh, you're looking at here as a percentage of federal budget. Oh, the graph. I mean, if you want to look at it in real dollars, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess the point is, I mean, you have to adjust for inflation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is enough to get the gist across. I mean, you can look at it as real dollars. You could look at it combated for inflation, et cetera, et cetera. But this line generally represents a good indication of how funding worked. But yeah. If you want to look, here, this would probably be a better one. There you go. How's that? I mean, if you look at constant dollars, you look at nominal dollars, you look at percentage of federal budget, all the graphs are pretty damn correlated. Nominal dollars is probably Nominal dollars in this particular case is a little bit misleading because inflation, right? There was huge inflation here, and there's huge inflation over here, right? Like, we haven't graphed that much, but... Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's... I probably should have started with that graph, I guess. I'll do that next time. But yeah, I mean, the point still stands. Like, it's... You want to develop something new, you want to develop that next-gen technology, it's going to cost billions of dollars. It doesn't matter if it's private or if it's public. It really doesn't make a difference. It's still going to cost a lot of money. You can see the Constellation budget cuts. Yep. Right there. Yeah, and actually, in 2014 constant dollars, it shows it a lot better, believe it or not. Yeah, this graph would have needed to go up here somewhere for Constellation. At the very least, probably to like right here and then down for Ares 1, and then it would have just been a slow ramp down. But it would have needed to have been a bell curve like this. Yeah, Swish, it's I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not frustrating, you know? Like, you know, everybody always beats the drum like, oh, NASA doesn't need more money. NASA doesn't need more. Oh, it's not in the budget. It's not in the budget. It's not in the budget. Okay. Was the Apollo program in the budget? Right? Like, is the bump in the 90s the ramp up for the ISS? That's Hubble Space Telescope. That's Hubble Space Telescope, ISS, and Shuttle Mir. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What in the 1990s increased the hype? Slightly equals, that's from right here. From 87 to 91 is what's called, this is the SDI, the Strategic Defense Initiative. That's what everybody calls it, Star Wars. Yeah, it's the strategic defense. They were going to ramp up NASA, and the shuttle was going to build Space Station Freedom, which basically morphed into the ISS. Space Station Freedom is like half of the ISS. The ISS is half of Space Station Freedom. Oh, the pew-pew that didn't pew-pew. But yeah, SDI is a bunch of other things, guys. SDI is, like, gave us DCX, Venture Star. It would have been, build the space station for the shuttle. But yeah, then they basically, every budget after 91 got axed. Everything. When the Cold War ended, the U.S. cut their defense spending hard, like real hard. But yeah, and NASA got the residual shaft from that. Yeah, that's called the Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI for short. SDI wasn't just the laser satellites; it was a bunch of different things, which is cool. It was a huge investment in the spaceflight sector. Yeah, I should do something about that for you guys if you want. But yeah. Having limited budget is okay, but going that route, other things need to change. For instance, knowing flatline budget will make it more expensive in the long run. Scheduling and milestones need to be extended much further out. Scope must be frozen completely by Phase C. SLS, I'm looking at you. Yeah, Rocket Guy, you're right. I still think that IV drip feeding budget like that is a really stupid idea. That's really not smart. But I also understand that, money isn't something that just grows on trees. So if NASA's getting their budget increased somewhere else, the mint isn't just printing more money to give that money to NASA because that devalues the money. How topical. So you got to take the money from something else. Yeah, Blueland, that probably wasn't a good idea in the long run. Yeah, we're gonna pay for that one later. Yeah, Yeah, that probably really wasn't a good idea. Yeah. We're gonna be bearing the fruits of that labor for a real long time. I'm not upset. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, dude. Hey, it is what it is, you know. Can we jump watch on the Trains Online video before we jump into space news? I mean, I'm kind of already in space news, but yeah. Yeah, guys, basically you gotta, if you want a good program, you want a program to get done right, study the systems engineering, which is exactly what I'm studying right now. Study that systems engineering. The best type of systems engineering projects has their budget balloon in the first quarter of the entire project. That's when you hit the peak of the bell curve, and then you start going down from there. You basically hit peak funding right when development of the launch vehicle, whatever systems construct you're making, gets operational. That's when your funding peaks, and it should go down from there. And if you keep making that and you make more of them, unit cost goes down, so it gets even cheaper over time. I mean, I'm not the best at economics, but that's pretty straightforward stuff. And the Saturn Apollo is a great example of that. I mean, the messed up part of Apollo is that we spent billions of dollars getting the Saturn V up and running, and we spent billions of dollars to fly it maybe 20 times. Talk about not getting your money's worth. That's like buying a Ferrari, spending it 300 grand and buying a Ferrari, driving it around for a week, and then deciding, okay, I got to say that I bought a Ferrari. Here, let me sell it for a quarter of the price that I just bought it from. Let me sell it for 100 grand instead. That's a third of the price, not a quarter, but you get the idea. That's basically what we did with the Saturn V. All that development money was for, oh yeah, we went to the moon, great. We showed that we're better than the Soviet Union. Lovely. That's like, it doesn't, if anything, we lost a lot of money by not flying the Saturn V more. All that development money went down the drain. How do you feel about the percentage of non-USA contributions, for example, the ISS? Asking as a European viewer, as the USA hasn't still a major dollar contributor. Leave us, Sonny, that's actually a good question, man. I mean, I don't mind working with you guys. You guys are all right. I wish you would, contribute more. I understand it's, oh, have you tried just contributing more? It's not exactly how that works. But I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't completely biased towards spaceflight. I'm always going to argue for more funding for spaceflight. Doesn't matter who it is. No, I like working with you guys. It's good. I mean, like, I don't mind the way they did it with SLS, having, like, Europeans build the service module and having them as an equal partner in it. Or James Webb launching the telescope. That's fine. Hey, it works. International cooperation is a good idea, but it has to be through mutual partners. You know what I mean? Yeah, Voz. Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of good questions. Are we covering the Python stuff? Vasia, after what happened during the beginning is, satisfactory. I don't really want to. I don't really want to. The term is quantitative easing. Yep. And why do you hate the Beluga? Because it's ugly. It looks terrible. It looks like half of the plane melted into the ground. How can you look at that thing and say, oh yeah, that's a good-looking plane? It's not a good-looking plane. It's not. I started talking about safety measures, Vasia, and people got all bent out of shape because that seems to just be what everyone does nowadays, so. Yes, but it works, just like your trucks. My trucks aren't ugly. Simple as that. I'm working on this airport. It looks like Megs, yeah. Tuesday Tarkov's with Taradra. Yeah, that's triple T. We're gonna play some Tarkov tonight. I got level 15, guys, which means I got the flea market open, which means your boy can engineer his own weapons. Well, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, Tom, I know. Cursed drone design. What's that? Guys, like, I'm sorry. You can't change my mind. The Beluga looks freaking terrible. It looks ugly as hell, and that's not a knock on the engineering. The engineering's great. It looks horrible. Okay, it looks horrible. Okay. You're telling me? Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. You're telling me that the same group of countries that made this Chad tier Giga Chad passenger liner made that? It's terrible. It looks ridiculous. I'm sorry. It looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. Ridiculous. See, look. It's annoying because I know that this is what you guys can do. This is what can be done. But no. Let's make this instead. Just no. Mm-mm. Built for porpoise? Oh, no. Have you seen the Beluga concept art? Wrecked. Considering there's no 225 before the Beluga is required. Well, if you want to, if we're gonna go off that mentality, look at the 225. That was a beautiful airplane. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's perfect. Perfect in every. It's just perfect. The proportions are just right. You look at the Beluga. It looks like someone with a broken nose. Ugh. Looks terrible. Look. All right. Look. I'll even take overweight 747 for that. Look, fat 747. Look, thick 747. All right, too many cheeseburgers 747 over the Beluga. Function over form. You said you take you'd rather take the Beluga over this? If you take the Beluga over the Dreamlifter, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You need Jesus or something. I don't know. Hell Hydra, what's that? Oh, nice picture. There's a train Beluga. Oh god, it looks terrible. It looks like a Fiat Multipla. For freak's sake. I don't need Jesus. I have the Beluga. Ugh. You worship a false god. You sit on a throne of lies. Super Guppy looks great, Gaw. I think Super Guppies look cool. So, you got Super Guppies, and then just no. Let's just take the plane and bend the front down. It looks fine. It looks like a Twizzlers. It looks like you strapped wings to the side of a Twizzlers. SMH my head. Anyway, let's keep going, dudes. So we have the flyover video, and okay, so this is fresh off the press from NASA Exploration Ground Systems. Let's see what the next thing is here. Let's take a look. I'm not sorry for creating this. You sit on a throne of lies. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern today, the launch team arrived at their stations inside of the Launch Control Center. Team is counting down towards a T0 time of 2:40 p.m. on Thursday, 4/14. So far, the weather looks favorable. This is for the modified wet dress rehearsal for SLS here. The modified wet dress rehearsal, that didn't show any pictures, is to basically test tanking operations for SLS's core stage, and that's it. NASA is chosen because of a bad helium check valve on the ICPS umbilical to just tank the core stage for the wet dress rehearsal, because that will give them the sufficient data that they need. That is obviously scheduled to hit a T0 at 2:40 p.m. on 4/14, so on Thursday. 2 days early, they need to be there that soon. Yeah, that's how NASA does things, man. You remember, this is the old school way of doing it. Ugh. Cursed image of a beluga at the SLF. Get it away. Why is it there? No. That's not... No. Novus, just... Alright, Novus, here's the SLS press conference from today. Oh! That was a media teleconference from yesterday. Okay. I'm going to have to pick through the information on that one. So 95% of that will be twiddling their thumbs. No, not at all, Creeper. Don't get confused. This is a really complicated operation, and this is the first time. Well, second time that they're doing it. Right now, it pays to go slow. It's the same thing that I was just talking about a second ago. You go slow now, you increase the rate, the funding rate now. This is when you should really take your time, and that's going to cost money, but this is still technically development. Artemis 1 hasn't flown yet. When it flies, then you're certified for operational missions, you know? They talk a bit about the valve issue. Oh, okay. Alright, cool. Good to know. Okay, so I'm going to retweet that. Just on a quick side note, here's a quick break from space news here. You have a parachute, right? I emptied it out. Emptied it? Why? To make room for snacks. Just wanted to let everybody know that snacks are mission critical. Parachutes? It's being a little optimistic, thinking they're going to come back. All right. Snacks are mission critical. Anyway. Snacks are mission critical. Anyway, so, yeah, the wet dress should be going by the 14th. I will keep you guys in the loop over the next couple of days. Absolutely. It's going to stretch my neck. My neck's still being a pain in the butt. All right, so, let's see. What else do we got here? There's the presser, but the presser is an hour long. You know, so I'm going to listen to the presser off stream. I'll give myself a little bit of homework. Here, check this next one out. This is coming from Rocket Factory Augsburg, who is a private European commercial spaceflight company from Europe. Check this out. Look. Hey, Anti-Saint, 60-month resub. Thank you. 60 months, man. Damn. Enjoy your worm logo. Why no people in the background anymore? Well, they're diligently working at their desk, German. They don't want to see you. They're working. Maybe except for my flight controller, the flight director. That guy's playing Galaga. That man is playing Galaga. Enough with the renders. Let us introduce the Helix engine. Ready for some more information on this marvelous piece of engineering and the chance to win unique Polaroid pics of this... Are Polaroids just NFTs from the 90s? You can't right click save as on a Polaroid. Are Polaroids just NFTs from the 90s? Wait a minute. They're boomer NFTs. Hey, we're kind of late with this whole digital thing in Germany. That's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Polaroids are physical. So no, they're already better. Yeah. The physical manifestation of the photo is just like blockchain. You can't right click and save as. It's not the same thing. If you photocopy a Polaroid, it's like right click saving as on an NFT. What did we just stumble upon? Guys, what if we bring back Polaroid cameras, okay? We bring back Polaroid cameras, and instead of just, calling it a Polaroid, right? We call it a material NFT. And what's a scanner? The scanner doesn't. That doesn't. It's not the same. It's not the same. Tangible. I'm sorry. That joke got really real, didn't it? And literally, instead of blockchaining it, we'll just attach a chain of a bunch of pictures together, so you could just and all the pictures go like the things that say happy birthday. Oh, nice Polaroid cameras, sweet. Yeah, well, I was making another joke. You're fired. All right, whatever. Yeah, I know, Arctic. It'll be great. Nothing will go wrong ever. Nothing will go wrong. It's a great idea, man. It's a great idea, man. Okay. Oh man. Blockchain Polaroid. What is this? A sorority girls dorm room? Oh my god. Mein Gott. All right. Beautiful pictures of this beauty. Look at this thing. Hey. Well, that's nice. Well, that's nice. Looks like we got... Interesting. It looks open cycle. Huh. What is this piece right here? What's that thing? So, okay, you got one coming in here, and then you got the other one. I'm not sure where the other one's coming in. I can't see it. Let's see if we got another picture. The helix is the first stage combustion. That's what I thought I saw. Yeah, stage combustion. Yeah, okay. It's oxygen-rich, closed cycle. It allows it to run more efficiently and be more performant than open cycle engines. It's made of different materials. It's all working together to produce about 100 kilonewtons of thrust. On our first stage, we have 9 helix engines with a specific impulse of 325. On our second stage, we have 1 vacuum optimized helix with 350 second specific impulse. Being closed cycle, it emits fewer soot exhaust gases, making it more environmental. Okay. Environmentally friendly and compliant with our vision to get closer to Earth from space. Critical parts of the engine are 3D printed, which is perfect for complex and very fine structures, i.e. cooling channels. 3D printing allows us to significantly reduce cost and production time, as well as scaling and automation of production. Last July, we successfully tested our in-house developed Helix engine for the first time. Now that the first engine and flight configuration is ready, we are preparing for a long-duration hot fire test. Stay tuned on that. It's going to be spectacular. Now for the question mark above. Can you guess how many different materials are used in the Helix engine? Comment your guess to draw a chance to win one of only a few unique Polaroid pictures of this beauty. It's Carolox, guys. Carolox, oxygen-rich stage combustion. Kind of looks like an RD-191. Oh, here's the other side. Let me see. Yeah, so the other pipe is going down low. Okay, so it's going down here somewhere. Interesting. Do different alloys count as different materials? I'm not sure. Legit submit a guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So I see. Well, see, here's the thing. They're probably using a copper-cooled channel right there, but it is 3D printed, so I don't know. And you definitely have a film-cooled nozzle. It's a film-cooled nozzle, so could have copper in it, might not. I don't know. We definitely see stainless. We got stainless steel, right? You got aluminum, that's for sure. There's aluminum on the engine mount up here. These parts are 3D printed. Some of those might be cast, but I'm not sure. They may have 3D printed more of it than anything, but it's interesting because some banding was left over from the additive manufacturing. See the banding right there? Well, actually, you know what? That's probably not banding. They probably put that there on purpose to strengthen that joint. Interesting. So I see stainless. These are all stainless. What? Whee! Stainless wires, aluminum, stainless steel right there. It's on TIG welded. Yeah, okay. Huh. I see. So this has got to be Inco. It's got to be Inco, aluminum, stainless. But see, like these are probably Inco too, but they're probably different alloys. So I'm not sure how to answer that question. Your German equivalent as a response to the first tweet. Ah, word. Senkrechtstarter. I follow. Cool. Oh, Timmy coming in, dropping facts. All right, what did Sank say? Let's see. The twists are to cool down the gas so pressure transducers don't die. Yep. I'm just gonna go over here, if you don't mind, for a moment. Just gonna go over here and just take a look here. Let's see. So, locks in right there. Kerosene in down here. The locks goes out to a pre-burner, and then that goes up and into the engine. because you have to put kerosene first, then LOX, and then you go into and this ball-shaped thing is the pre-burner right there. And then that pre-burner gets dumped into the combustion chamber. And then on top of that, you have the more mixture going in on the top. How good is it to have welds in an engine with such pressures involved? What do you mean? Welds? Yeah, no, welds are stronger than bolting things together. Yeah, you ideally would want to weld the whole thing together, dude, but you can't do that. Because sometimes stuff gets cold, stuff gets hot, it expands and contracts, so welds can break. So you have to, the whole thing has to have some play, dude. Yeah, the plumbing seems very similar to an RD191. It's just more compact, and this engine is a lot, this engine is a lot smaller. Let me take a look. Let's look in a little bit more. So, I'm going to guess that kerosene's coming in over here. Kerosene is going down into the bottom. Then liquid oxygen. See how that pipe is super insulated? It's liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen comes in here. Then you have your pre-burner right there. And the pre-burner goes into a dump that goes... Yeah, it is missing pieces. Yeah. There's two open flanges right there. That's what Sank saw. See it right there? There's one, and then there's the other. I don't think the plumbing is complete on this motor. I mean, normally you just wouldn't have an open dump like that. The left duct has TPS on it, and it's covered by tape. Yeah, so that's definitely locks in. And if that's locks in, you need kerosene before that, before you get to the pre-burner, right? So, so we got kerosene in first, right? Then liquid oxygen. So there's two impellers right here, right? And then you have the pre-burners up here, though. First and second stage engine, so there. There's the dump into the power head right there. And then, yeah, that's going to have to go down into the combustion chamber. This must lead into the combustion chamber right here. The pre-burner must go up, turn around, and loop back. And then I think that this flange is not connected to this. It's connected into the motor. Let's see what everybody else is saying. I think. I love how they're like, hey, guess what metals it's made out of? People are like, no, let me figure out how you plumbed this. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Interesting. Well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look complete. We're going to have to study it more when it's more complete. Either way, that's a private company in Germany. Pretty cool. They're going to have 9 of those engines in the first stage on their rocket and 1 vacuum-optimized one in the second stage. It's pretty good. Now, these engines, they said they'll make about 100 kilonewtons of thrust. So, we're looking at a launch vehicle that's probably Electron-sized. A little bit bigger than Astra, maybe about the same size as Electron. This is a small sat launcher, but still, that's progress. I mean, when we were talking about funding and stuff, people, Europe putting in more to the space program. Well, this is a good way to do that too.
Go at throttle up.
1,500 kilograms sun synchronous. A little bigger than Electron. Yeah, a little bit bigger, huh? Not bad. It's gonna be a nice little rocket, dude. That's almost Vega sized. Jock, talking about landing stages here. They gonna land some stages? Yes, no, maybe. Are the smallsat launches killing off SpaceX's rideshare program? Idez, actually, on the contrary, SpaceX's rideshare program is making it harder to compete for smallsats. Where can you land rockets in the EU? Who says they're going to launch from the EU? In local news, they have teased first stage recovery, but only in like a tiny citywide publication, so no details. It's not bad for a first attempt for a private European company, Chris. But yeah, no, good job. More rockets, the better. This is great. Wunderbar. They land in the ocean. Shh, shh, shh. Camelot. It's only a model. Shh, 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 shh. The only thing I'm not getting about that left duct is why you can see the ridges from the flanges. Which would mean that there's not TPS on the duct, but then again, why would you tape it? I think this is an incomplete model or just a static test article or something, Novus. Think like, you know those two the developmental engines that they put on Vulcan and moved it to the pad and then tanked it with the development engines? I think it's that. I think it's something. It's probably like a pre-production motor or something. Also tease something for second stage with even less detail. And they want to launch north from Indoya. Plenty of... Oh, they're going out of Indoya. Oh, wunderbar. I mean... Yeah, that's good. That's a good corridor. I mean, there is another launch site, Jock, that's in Europe that I'm thinking about that might not be the worst place to launch from, but I'm pretty sure no one's ever going to launch anything from there ever again. So where are they talking about? They're talking about it in Indoya, way up here. It's up here somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, there's a launch site somewhere up there. NASA uses that site from time to time, believe it or not. Also trying to get stuff to work in Isrange and the Azores. They have a subsidiary in Portugal already, so might see something in the Atlantic. Interesting. The other launch site is right here, but yeah, I don't think they'd do that. You know, pretty sure. Actually, where is it? Ah, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, you can see the launch pads are still there, believe it or not, which is weird. Yeah, see, there they are. This space center was used to test stuff that is not the good kind of rockets, though. Yep, there it is. Yep, there's what's left of it. Huh. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Before that happens, the German Offshore Space Alliance, the German sea launch platform, is the only thing that German politicians want. Ew. Yeah, that Peenemünde is where they developed the Aggregate 4. It's a launch site. There's a whole... Dude, there was a whole space center there, believe it or not. Like, there was a whole space center that was... Like, Peenemünde was almost as big as Cape Canaveral. It's freaking huge. I mean... Not really a fan of the reasons why rockets were developed here, but, I mean, then again, who is? Yeah, see? These are all launch pads down here. All of them. They're all down here. A bunch of test stands, a bunch of launch pads. Yep. Yeah, that's where the A4 was developed, right here on this peninsula. Yep. And then there's a whole, like, space center complex down here and stuff. It's actually pretty crazy. Whole base, yeah, all this, see that? And then all the pads are up here up north. They're pits. They dug berms around the pads. See, that's one right there. You can go look it up, guys, if you wanted to see it. There's a lot of history right there. Not the good kind of history. Oh, history is kind of colorblind, but yeah, no, I would say not the good kind of history. But yeah, it's a pretty decent launch site. It's not bad. It's just a little ways north, that's all. Crazy that it's still visible. I mean, yeah. There's also launch sites in the Netherlands for the A4. Yeah, that launch site is not the one that no. We don't want that one. That one launched rockets, but they were going in the wrong direction. Yeah, they were going in the wrong direction. Retrograde. Who would do that? Retrograde? Gross. Gross. Anyway. Taylor, I don't know how that guy has anything to do with it, but alright. Not even orbital, lame. Yeah, that's what it's like I was saying before. I don't like the rockets that go up and come back down and hurt people. They got a word for that, and it ain't rocket. It's missile. I don't like those. Those we don't need to talk about those. Screw those. Also going for the wrong planet. Yeah, I know. Very short-sighted. Don't you think? Shame. Anyway, good job. That's cool. That's really neat. That's cool that Augsburg's really stepping up their game. That's actually pretty damn cool. Anyway, let's move on to the next video. So we have a Cape overflight by NASA Spaceflight. This video was sponsored by Jack Byer. Wait, what? All right, so here, check this out. This is another flyover video of Cape Canaveral, so we can see what like Starship's pad is up to down there. They're building one at the Cape, so here, let's see. Hi, Jack.
Hey everyone, Jack Byer here with NASA Spaceflight. SLS is on the pad at 39B for testing. Multiple sections of the Starship orbital launch tower are in assembly. Construction at SpaceX's Roberts Road facility is making rapid progress, and more work was visible at pad 39A to prepare the ground infrastructure there for Starship. All that, plus an update on Blue Origin's Exploration Park facility in this week's Cape Update.
It's on the 14th, Audrey.
First, let's head over to Roberts Road, where we can see the rapid progress being made there. Starting with Hangar X, the exterior walls of the extensions to the building have all been completed, and concrete work outside the delivery area has progressed nicely from our last flyover. We can see here that the entire north-facing wall of one of the extensions has now been completely paneled with glass. This section is a prime contender for office space and launch viewing areas based on how it was constructed. With a large glass wall now providing great views out towards Launch Complex 39A and the new proposed Launch Complex 49 Starship Launch and Landing Facility, it's hard not to imagine SpaceX using this area as a prime location for friends and family to watch from. Just to the side of that area and built off to the west of the main Hangar X facility, the new delivery location or loading dock is now fully enclosed as workers have finished its 3 exterior walls. This delivery area also has a newly completed large concrete pad in front of the main doors. You can see the rebar foundation work for that concrete slab clearly laid out in our last flyover. This area seems large enough to allow multiple deliveries at the same time, including potential booster construction materials, Raptor engines, and various other materials that will be needed not just for Starship, but for Falcon 9 refurbishment efforts at Hangar X as well. More curious, though, is a door first mentioned in our last flyover video. Located on the western side of the Hangar X extensions, this door is almost perfectly sized for 1/2 of a Falcon 9 payload fairing. Is a door first mentioned in our last flyover video. Located on the western side of the Hangar X extensions, this door is almost perfectly sized for 1/2 of a Falcon 9 payload fairing. Given SpaceX's desire to consolidate processing as much as possible for efficiency, it would make sense that they would build
Mountain Dew is the best soft drink ever.
In between flights. Heading over to the west of Hangar X, SpaceX is continuing to build up hardware for the eventual first Starship launch tower at the Cape. We can clearly see a 3rd and 4th tower section being built alongside the first 2 sections, further to the north, which are at a much later stage of construction. On those 2 sections, we can see that the central truss for the elevator of the tower is taking shape, with the northernmost one even getting a whole floor for workers to access this level. That level in particular can be seen sporting a bumper or stop for the chopsticks that will eventually be installed in this tower. a sign that indicates this is the level that will go right above the concrete base. This is the same design as the tower in Boca Chica. In a new addition to the tower section assembly area, we can see another row
Reusable
of
match.
square concrete foundations for at least 4 more tower levels to be built here. It seems like SpaceX is getting ready to crank out a lot of these tower levels in rapid succession. This could be to support the construction of multiple towers at once, or to enable SpaceX to construct all of 39A's tower segment at once and roll them out at the same time, necessitating only one road closure and lessening the logistical headache. We're definitely looking forward to seeing that happening. Continuing to look around the Roberts Road site, we can see that groundwork for the eventual Starship production area has progressed significantly since our last flight.
I mean, Netch, they gotta reuse the heat shields and stuff, dude. They reuse the capsule, but they have to refurbish the heat shield, and then the outside paneling and a couple of other things. It's not like super refurbishable like refurbishable like the shuttle where you have to take the whole thing apart, but it's not like reusable like they put it back on the pad and send it either. I would say it's closer to reusable, further away from refurbishable, but it's somewhere in between.
All pile drilling operations now appear to be complete. Previously, we saw the pile driller diligently working through row after row, digging a hole and then driving rebar into the ground.
Yeah.
This was then reinforced with concrete to support the eventual factory's foundation on the marshy ground of Florida's Space Coast. With this work complete, workers will now lay out the foundation footprint and begin preparing the area for work on that foundation.
Damn, dude.
Traveling
That is
slightly
a
to the
big
southeast,
freaking
we
building.
can see
Dude, it's not Gigafactory big, but it is pretty freaking big, man. That's crazy. I mean, look at the shipping container right there, comparatively to the footprint. That thing is gigantic. But
more
I'll shut up.
ground
I'll let Jack
operations
talk.
underway
We'll go
for
back
an
through the
eventual
video
high
later.
bay building like we've seen in Starbase Boca Chica. This is backed up by evidence and publicly available plans for the expansion of Roberts Road. Following in the footsteps of Starbase Boca Chica is not surprising, as Starbase is designed not just as a test facility, but also as a place to develop overall operations and procedures for manufacturing Starship that can then be implemented at Kennedy Space Center. Finally, the last major change to the Roberts Road area is the ongoing efforts to excavate a retention pond on the western side of the facility. Crews have been busy deepening the pond, as it will be needed from an environmental standpoint for ecosystem stabilization. The retention pond is also a vital way to prevent materials and contaminants from entering the local water of the wildlife refuge. Let's turn our attention now to the launch infrastructure at the Cape, including multiple launch pads. Much to the relief of the Kennedy Space Center's multi-user spaceport aspirations, both LC-39's pads were occupied for a brief period of time. 39B continues to host the Space Launch System rocket for Artemis 1. This is the first time a launch vehicle has been on the former shuttle pad since the famously cursed Ares 1X back in 2009. SLS rolled to the pad to conduct a wet dress rehearsal, which began and was then scrubbed on April 3rd. Another wet dress rehearsal attempt was conducted the following day, only to scrub again early into liquid oxygen loading. The next attempt is currently targeting Thursday, pending the resolution to a helium valve on the ICPS, which is the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or the upper stage of the rocket. This will be a partial test, with the decision to replace the ICPS valve, which can only be carried out inside the VAB, to come after rollback.
Facts, Buzz.
With one moon rocket on Pad B, when will another grace Pad A? Let's take a look at how construction of the Starship facility in the Pad 39A area is progressing. The first striking difference from our last flyover is the presence of the concrete base of the Starship launch tower rising out of the ground. Rebar can still be seen, so more concrete needs to be filled in, but eventually we should expect it to look pretty much like the tower base we currently see at Starbase Boca Chica.
Yep.
We can also see more work being done on the old hydrogen storage sphere used during the Saturn and Shuttle eras. We still think that this work is to convert the storage sphere for use with liquid methane. This is in part due to something we noticed in updated Google Earth imagery thanks to Harry Stranger. There appear to be subcoolers already installed next to the hydrogen sphere that further indicate the use of this tank as part of the methane farm. Speaking of which, we were also able to spot LOX subcoolers on the other side of the complex, where the previous Starship mount was planned. This was thanks to the great views we had during the Axiom 1 launch webcast. We can see that they are located over the old Starship launch mount and flame diverter structure that SpaceX was building back in 2019. This structure was dismantled in October 2021, and it appears that they're now using these foundations to place all the equipment needed for the LOX side of the Starship tank farm. However, 39A's launch site is not the only place at Kennedy Space Center where structures are quickly going up. Over at Blue Origin, the 2CAT structure has been built out with a full second level and installation of the other half of the side panels. In case you missed the explanation of this structure from a previous flyover video of ours,
right, Steiner.
2CAT will be used to conduct testing
Tell
of
him.
the second stage of New Glen. It does not appear as if the structure has reached its final height yet, as more pins are visible that would allow installation of additional segments on top of the current second level. According to public plans, the final height of the 2CAT will be 100 feet. Next to it, 2 more ground structures have popped up as well, with one structure being built on the foundation we spotted last time, and a smaller area being built off the other side of 2CAT. While the bigger one will be used for office space, most likely space to control testing operations related to 2CAT, the smaller structure will most likely function as a support and storage building for the facility. At the main Exploration Park campus, next to the existing warehouse, a large area is being cleared for foundation and construction work ahead of expansion of the complex. Here, the outlines for one of the foundations are now visible for a massive 200,000 square foot manufacturing and support building, which is planned to be expanded further in the near future. Blue Origin is doing a big expansion of their Cape facilities, with a chemical processing area, a warehouse, and more rocket manufacturing areas. While the other areas are already in construction and visible, Blue Origin has not yet started on the build of the chemical processing facility. It will go up next to the existing large warehouse on the southern end of the campus. Areas are already in construction and visible, Blue Origin has not yet started on the build of the chemical processing facility. It will go up next to the existing large warehouse on the southern end of the campus.
Gary, you're getting a lot faster.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a piece of trash, man. Gary, you're getting a lot faster.
Areas are already in construction and visible, Blue Origin has not yet started on the build of the chemical processing facility. It will go up next to the existing large warehouse on the southern end of the campus. At Launch Complex 36, nothing has really changed since our last flyover. A transporter is still on the ramp, and besides that, no major construction appears to be ongoing, at least for now. However, we did get a good look at the stainless steel Project Jarvis test tank, which is Blue Origin's first attempt at second stage reusability. This is comparable to Starship tank prototypes we saw at Boca Chica over the last few years. Think SN5 or SN6. Next to the pad, a row of tents has gone up, with 4 already constructed and a 5th on the way. While it is not confirmed what these tents are for, it is likely that they are there to support Jarvis testing and construction. Thanks to Brilliant for...
Is Jeff making some Elon tents there or something? They're Elon tents. They have shipping containers on the side. Those are Elon tents. And I'll tell you guys, those are big tents, man. Those are big. Those are huge. Can I just play that one more time?
Gary, you're getting a lot faster.
Yeah, those are shipping containers over there. Gary, you're getting a lot faster. Sorry, guys. Hide your babos. Yeah, look at that. Blue's up to something, dudes. Blue's up to something. You're getting a lot faster. That's cool, though. Jack did a good job. He really did. The patent. All right, here. Let's go back and take a look. Let's go dissect some of this footage. So, Starship Tower segments there, guys. Note that there's more space for a bunch. I think that Jack and the guys at NSF are right. It's either for building more pads, or it's for constructing basically the entire tower segment right next to each other, right here, and then moving them all at once to the pad. Apart from lawsuits, fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the windows thing. That's very interesting that they have the windows facing towards the VAB. But, you know, that's a really interesting point that Jack brought up in the VO, that it's pointing, that's pointing exactly where Complex 49, the proposed site for Complex 49 is. It's right there. NASA is looking at proposals here. 49. Check this out. See? They're looking to build another gigantic freaking pad out here called LC49. And Roberts Road is basically right here, and it's parallel to the road, so it's literally looking right at it. Interesting. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with that, but either way, pretty cool. Also, yeah, I want to point out that it is just a pretty freaking sweet view because you can see the VAB and stuff. It's looking over here. See? Actually, it's a little more north than that, but you get the idea. LC 49 needs to be renamed 39C. I've said in the past, dudes, I've said in the past that 49 is a notional name, and NASA would, if NASA was smart, and they are, I'm not saying they're not, they would just build another, they would extend the crawlerway out there and just build another one, build 39C right here, which is basically where the 49 pad is supposed to be. They should just build another one of these right here and offer it as a multi-user spaceport. Now, why? Okay, so I want to point out that the space fan in me wants them to extend Complex 39. Why do I want that? Well, they built for it already in the 60s. They built for the possibility of extending the crawlerway and built the extension right there in case they needed it. So that already exists. 2. This pad, if it is for Starship, or if it's for anybody that wants to move any type of heavy equipment out there, well, guess what? That's the closest way. Think about it for a second. These roads that lead to where that pad is supposed to be, these are very light-duty roads. They're not heavy roads. It's just designed for cars. It's not designed for trucks. So, if it's not designed for any of that, I mean, that road goes out and around where they wanted to build 39C right here. It's not designed for any of that. So if you wanted to build out some heavy architecture here or some heavy infrastructure, right? And here, let's go, we'll use kilometers, right? You would need to basically upgrade the road all the way to about here. That's a distance of about 5 kilometers. Now look at the distance here. It's less distance. I don't think that's an accident. I really don't. Now, what do I mean by infrastructure? Well, 1, this attaches you into the VAB. So that means NASA would be more likely to have a multi-user integration building with, you know, capability of being able to integrate something inside of the VAB and use the high bay. The second thing is that this heavy infrastructure, the road is designed for heavy infrastructure because this was used to deliver all the materials to build the pads. So these roads are already designed for heavy infrastructure that runs next to the crawlerway. 3, electrical. There's no electricity out here. There's no industrial electricity. There's no industrial power. That's the closest tap-off. Right there. So if they did build a pad out here, right? Literally, the 39B, 39C split that they built in 1965 would be the closest spot. It would be the closest. It's literally 1,000 meters closer using that instead of trying to build out infrastructure this way. That's the easiest way to do it. I think that's what NASA's trying to do with 49. I can't prove it though. That's just my personal theory. I don't know if that's right. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that the space fan in me doesn't want that to happen, because I absolutely do. But also from a logistics standpoint, that makes way more sense. It's way easier to bring the construction equipment out here and build out the crawlerway this way than it would be to try and redo all of this, right? The only thing that kind of gets stuck in my mind that would be a little bit difficult is, well, you're going to need to grade this, and you can't grade it without a road being here already, you know? But how cool would it be to see a real, like, 39C instead of, what, that piece of crap right there? They called that 39C. They made a parking lot into a little mini launch pad and called it a launch pad, and then everybody said, nah, we don't need that. How cool would it be for them to actually build 39C and have a dedicated, like, big boy flame trench for Starship and stuff? It'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? Instead of, you know, SpaceX just building it on the side like they're doing here. Not that that's a bad thing, you know? Maybe this pad, maybe, here, I'm going to float another theory here. Maybe this pad is temporary. Think about it. It could be. Maybe it is. I'm going to move that back into position. Maybe that pad's temporary. Maybe they're going to build out the pad here, and then they'll take it apart and move it to 49 when 49 gets completed. I don't know why they would do that, but maybe they would. Do they drive piles to reinforce the roads through the swampy areas? You don't need that for a road, Rizik. It really depends on the type of road. You generally don't... Oh boy. You generally don't drive piles for roads. What makes the road be able to hold up more weight is the thickness of what's called the subgrade. So, underneath it. I can get more into it if you want. If you want to learn about building in Florida and stuff. Geeson, what is this? Why not have both of them? That could be what they're trying to do, Tomas. Yeah. God damn it. Speedy meme. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. So, yeah. It would be kind of cool to see a dedicated, like, basically Starship working... like right here. Who knows? Maybe in the future, right? Maybe in the future, they take Starship's pad and they just place it right here. Why don't we just take Starship's pad and move it over there? To keep the SpongeBob memes going. Here, I'm going to do it again.
Gary, you're getting a lot faster.
How about the two towers on 49? One new and one that is operational, then move the other one. Yep. I mean, Chris, here's my other theory. This one, guys, this one is a super stretch. That's a super stretch. This is just the space fan inside of me wanting this. My big fan theory here is that 49 is going to be another clean pad, right? And they're going to take the Starship orbital launch tower and the catch arms, and they're going to put it on a mobile launcher. And they could integrate inside of the VAB using multiple MLs on one pad. Think about it for a second. You know, I know people are going to say, oh, EJ, doesn't it take the crawler such a long time to get out there? 5 hours is nothing. It takes it 5 hours to get there. But, people say, like, oh, why don't you do that? It doesn't make any sense. I don't think I need to explain why it would be prudent for SpaceX to have a pad or catcher arms that are quick swappable, that are something that can easily be swapped out just in case. Am I right? Think about it for a second. And once again, it's just a fan theory. I would love to see this. This is kind of what I would like to see. But think about it. SpaceX rolls the orbital launch tower and the catch arms on the crawler transporter to the pad, they drop it down, and then they can integrate Starship and Super Heavy right at the pad. No problem. You can do that. That's easy. And you could even catch them right there, too. The pad can take it. It's no problem. If they can launch on flat ground like what they can do at Boca Chica with no flame deflector, it can land on the pad. That's not an issue, right? The pads, in the clean pad configuration, if they built another copy of this, right, the pad it was basically designed with a huge staging area on one side. So you could catch boosters over here if you really wanted to, or you could catch them right there. It doesn't matter. And SpaceX wouldn't necessarily be integrating Starships inside of the VAB. But if one pad gets damaged, they can quick swap another one out. Roll another one from the VAB. It's not a bad idea. That's kind of more of an interim solution. I don't think that jives very well with how fast SpaceX wants to go with Starship, like launching a Starship a day. But you guys got to remember, the crawler only takes 6 hours. The reason why the SLS transferred to 39B took 11 hours is because they stopped every like 500 feet or 150 meters. They stopped and they took data on testing on how the crawler was sinking into the ground or not, right? You can usually get it out there in a half of a day, about 6. And about 6 hours conforms perfectly with how fast SpaceX wants to turn around Starships. We're talking going back and forth every day with the crawler transporter and a mobile launcher. And in that regard, that works very well. That's a really smart thing to do. So use the VAB to build pads instead of rockets, and then use the pad to integrate Starship and Super Heavy stack. Yep. And if one pad gets damaged, you swap it out for another one. It's not a bad idea. And before you say like, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, first of all, fellas, let me consider this. Consider this, okay? You know, this might seem slow, right? The whole crawler transporter thing. But believe it or not, this system was designed to go fast. That's why they built 4 high bays. Because as they ramped up the Apollo program, they anticipated rolling one of these out to the pad almost every week. That's what the bandwidth for this system is. For 39A, 39B, the double high bays, 3 mobile launchers, 2 crawler transporters, and a partridge in... It's not Christmas. That's what the bandwidth for this design was. The VAB is designed to be used. And I'll give you another case example of that. In 1985, they launched the shuttle 9 times. 9 times. And we're planning to scale up to 24 launches a year. That shows you how fast the VAB with the high bays and the clean pad design can put rockets together. You can go very fast with it if you know what you're doing. That's what not Von Braun necessarily, but that's what the Apollo program gave us. It's supposed to do that. It's supposed to be able to put rockets to work. Not put rockets to work. It's supposed to launch rockets a lot. This whole system has an incredible amount of bandwidth. And it's kind of misleading because when someone sees like the crawler transporter moving, they're like, that's not very fast. Well, that's no faster than any other rocket moving to the pad. The crawler transporter goes about the same speed as SpaceX's transporter erector with a Falcon 9 on it rolling up to 39A. Just a theory. Tomas, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why not use the crawler transporter to damage the pad and move the rockets using SPMTs? Bingo. That's exactly what I'm saying to do. You don't use the VAB to put the whole stack together. You use the VAB to repair the pad if it needs to be repaired. It makes perfect sense with a mobile launcher and a clean pad design. That's really smart. Think about it for a second. That's pretty smart, dude. How fast do the SPMTs go at Boca Chica? Probably like 4 or 5 miles an hour. They're pretty quick. Hey, will you cover anything about the 5 to 6 planet alignment next week? Jizzle, that's not really what I do. I don't really do that, but it's still cool. I mean... Well, yeah, predominantly, if they're going to launch and land on one pad, the logical solution there is to have multiple pads. But do you need multiple fuel farms? No, not necessarily. You don't need multiple fuel farms. The idea of between having 2 pads is if one pad gets damaged, you have another one. But also, you have a pad that's the most complicated piece of equipment. The pad is the transporter erector. And if it's already the transporter erector, you might as well be able to swap those parts out quick, and that also works with rapid prototyping. You want to change a pad, you figured out a better way to catch it, good. Roll one mobile launcher back into the VAB, fix it, or change something on it, roll it right back out. Put in another pad in the meantime. It's actually not, don't get me wrong. When I first started theory crafting out this idea, I'm like, there's no way they would do that. There's no way. But you think about it more and more, and it kind of makes sense. It's still a stretch, don't get me wrong, but it's less of a stretch than, than you would think by just saying, oh, I think SpaceX is going to use the VAB and the crawler and stuff. It's like, no, they're not. But they might. Would they need more crawlers? No. But there's the second one already, Game Coder. And believe it or not, I have a theory that I think SLS is actually heavier than Starship. Well, I think they should land offshore. I mean, predominantly, dude, here's the thing. Predominantly, you want to hear something mess up? Like, look for a second here. Okay, so say my idea sucks, and they don't do my idea, right? And they decide to land like super heavy downrange, or they decide to land it on an oil platform or some big piece of sea infrastructure. But bro, the turning basin is right there. A dock that's literally designed to move Saturn V stages around. It's right there. You already have access to the sea, and you have a deep water channel that goes right to the ocean. Like, SpaceX would be crazy to not use this, right? Like, it makes sense either way. Say you have a Starship mission where they have to move an absurdly big payload. They can't get super heavy back to the pad. Land it out on the damn oil rig, and then bring the oil rig in. Bring the oil rig in here and have it offloaded onto a barge. Put the barge through the locks, which guess what? You can have a big enough barge to fit in here. The Pegasus can fit in here, which means an SLS core can fit in here. A Saturn V core was designed to fit through here on the barge, right? Saturn V cores are 10 meters wide, not 9. You could do it, man. It's totally doable. And I'm willing to bet, fellas, that SpaceX is looking at all these different possibilities. They're just going to try to find the best one. Oh, Creeper, what's all that? Full document on Blue Origin plans. Oh, we've seen those. Yeah. It's messed up, man. It's messed up. That's messed up, dude. So it's not a bad idea. It's not bad when you think about it. NASA has another crawler transporter that's just kind of sitting there. And SpaceX does have a habit of buying NASA legacy stuff and using it. I'll give you another good example. Well, here, look at this orange grove. Ready? Whoop! The Falcon 9 transporter is an X-shuttle transporter. Heck, even the fixed service structure that we watched the Axiom 1 crew go down. The fixed service structure right there. That's leftover Apollo hardware. 39A is leftover Apollo hardware. SpaceX has a habit of trying to get pads of historical and parts of historical significance. And come on, who wouldn't want to see an orbital launch tower and the chopsticks roll out of the VAB? Who wouldn't want that? I would want that. I would want that. I mean, you don't want that? That would be pretty sweet. You could fly it back, Cynerd. Yeah. Didn't you have jobs earlier today? I went out for lunch, Crocker, and I'm not going out in public like that. People look at you weird. Check out Pembo's Last. Okay, Chris. They could encapsulate NRO payloads inside of the VAB without anybody looking. Chris, it makes sense, dude. It really does. Do you need a VAB for crawler repair? They did redo the crawler inside of one of the high bays, Balxy. I don't know where Pembo's Last is. Sorry.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
God gifted 5 subs. Thank you very much. Love the honor. I'm trying. I mean, I want a Starship rolling out of the VAB. I don't know about you guys. That would be pretty sweet. Pembo. Okay, here we go. Speaking of shuttle testing earlier, I have a bunch of testing data.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Pembo, how did you get these and why? Why did you... How do you have this? Oh, God. Okay. Can you, like, send me that for, like, research or something? I need to practice reading. How do you have that? I want it. Yes? Yes? You better not be screwing with me, Tommy, because you know I'm not a man to be screwed with. The tablet. The tablet. The tablet. Where did you get these, dude? Where did you... Where I need to buy some Polaroids of the... I need some Polaroids. I need the Polaroid. Oh. Estate auctions from a retired engineer. How much? I'll pay you double what you paid for them. How much? Well, no, wait. What did you pay for them? I want it. You have a few boxes? I want Pembo. Hey, Pembo, you remember that one time where Mr. Strimmerman made you watch the stream and you were entertained by Mr. Strimmerman? You remember that part? You remember that one time? You remember that one time? Please. It's like, hey, look, it's your buddy EJ. Hey, you like space stuff? It's like, oh man, this streamer makes me really happy, so I should contribute. You remember that time? No, seriously, Pembo, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Those manuals are sick. And what's cool is that I saw in the blueprints that it's released documents, so we're not screwing with anything that's... You're not screwing with anything that's, you know, it's not like ITAR or anything, which is cool. That's really freaking cool, actually. See, this is why you need to move to Florida to be near estate sales. Yeah, I know. They belong in a museum. So do you! Yeah, my personal museum for personally museuming things. No, seriously, Pembo, I will buy them. I will buy those from you. Yeah. Shoot me a message on Discord if you're interested. Yeah, I'll buy those. Yeah. I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that. Wait, hold on. I'd buy that for $1. Hey, Ten, how are you? That's really cool, Pembo. If they're not for sale, dude, I get it. That's really cool. You got an awesome piece of history there, man. That's really, really neat. But yeah, shoot me a message on Discord. Tell me your intentions, Gypsy. We could put them on the desk behind you. I can. They're getting ready for Boston next week. Oh yeah, there's PAX. Huh. See what's up. That's a real disc. Yeah. See? Yeah, that's. Don't mind the chroming that happens right here. Just. Anyway, Pembo, that's really neat. Anyway, so let's see what else we got. So yeah, enough theory crafting about what's up with me. Let's keep going. My dogs heard you knocking. I didn't knock. Any KSP stuff at PAX? I didn't see any Boxy on the brochure. Tan, what say you? Private Division is not going to be there. Shame that. Yeah, see, heavy loading dock right here. I don't know what you're talking about, W. Oh, no, we don't need to do that. Yeah, just, yep. Okay, so yeah, big heavy loading dock right there. There's a new space station simulator game that will be there, though, that looks interesting. So, one thing that I actually wanted to look at again here is... So they have... SpaceX has this big loading dock right here. Let's see. Did they zoom in on it? Yeah, here we go. All right, so fellas, they... Concrete. See this big concrete? Somebody asked, like, oh, roads and stuff. Like, do you need to drive pilings for a road? No. The key is to spread the load out. So if you have a road that has heavy traffic, you basically... All right, here. So... Say this is your ground in Florida, right? Okay. If you have a regular road, you just basically need to do something like this. Okay. The road goes up, it crowns, it goes down, right? And then you need to dig out a little bit right here and put in what's called a subgrade, right? So this spot right here, that's the pavement, and then this is just compacted soil called a subgrade, right? And then you dig drainage culverts to the side, here and here. So when it rains in Florida, which it does, it drains off into the culverts, okay? That's just a regular road. You don't need to drill pilings or anything at all. If you want to make something that's designed for heavy use, so heavy traffic, right? It's the same idea, right? But that subgrade is a lot bigger. The subgrade is a lot bigger, and the drainage ditches are also big retention ponds now. So not only does it deal with drainage going off to the sides, right? Water goes over here and over here, right? When there's a big heavy truck on the road, the weight of the truck gets dispersed over a much larger surface area. So the load, because the load of the truck gets dispersed, right? Because it's basically on a bigger mound of soil, right? Honk, honk. Right? It's on a bigger mound of soil, so it doesn't sink as much. Now, I'll show you what that looks like here. Whoop. So, if we go look at Roberts Road, right, I'll show you a road that's designed for heavy infrastructure, that's designed to move heavy things. Kennedy Parkway right here. See? Look at it. It's up on a big freaking hill, both sides of the road. See? That's what I'm talking about. And it has a huge drainage ditch on either side. A better example of something that's designed to take heavier traffic, but look, there's basically a long retention pond on the side of it. A better example would be the shuttle landing facility. This pathway was designed for a space shuttle, right? It's designed for a shuttle. So the shuttle is freaking heavy. It's going to displace a lot of water. So they basically dug two big freaking rivers next to it. Same with the entire shuttle landing facility. Look. See? They built it up on a big mound, like a pitcher's mound, but extruded in one direction for long periods of time. Now, that's a big road. All right, that's a I say big road. This is a road that's designed for heavy, like when I say heavy traffic, I mean like literally heavy things, like a truck that's moving solid rocket boosters or something, or a truck that's moving a spacecraft down the road, something that's really freaking heavy. That's what that's designed for. Now, SpaceX with Roberts Road, right? Let's go back over here. SpaceX with Roberts Road has a big freaking slab of concrete right here. That's not an accident. I also don't think it's an accident that this parking lot right here has no medians in it. It just has a line that's painted white. So that means, that tells me that something big and heavy is going to come in here, and it's something that that's big and heavy that they can't afford to put a curb there because whatever it is, it's going to be turning around. So it could be semi-trucks, could be a bunch of different things. Now, this road right here, this whole parking lot, believe it or not, it has a heavy subgrade, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a very heavy subgrade right there. So what does that mean? Well, something, to be honest with you, I have no freaking idea what that means. But what that could mean is that maybe starships will be traveling down this road from the Starship factory at some point. Who knows? Your mom? Also, yeah, that too. And, yeah, Swisio, she'd tell you the vaffanculo. Okay? And then she'd probably chase you around with a wooden stick if she heard you say that, so don't say that again. But the other curious thing about this road that also corroborates more that it's going to move something heavy around is the fact that it's a 3-lane road. 3-lane road to get to a parking lot. See? That's a 2-lane road right there. This is a 3-lane road. That's very strange. So, and they basically purposely left a big slab of concrete out here. So, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. What that could mean, is that starships are going to be rolled across here and then down here. Could. I don't know. A wooden spoon, yeah. See? That's a 3-lane road. That's very weird to put a 3-lane road just to service a parking lot, right? That's how you know it's designed for something heavy. You always look for the infrastructure. It's really easy to spot with rockets, and you guys have seen me do that multiple times. There's really easy things to spot, like right here. I'll give you another example. So the road that comes from the turning basin. So you know that rocket stages are going to get unloaded here to go right into the VAB. Now, why did they make them turn like this and then go this way like that, right? Well, you wanted the rocket stages to be able to go straight into the transfer aisle right here. There's a big open space from basically here to there inside of the VAB for staging rockets. It's called the transfer aisle. Look at these roads. Look at these roads compared to everything else. That road is like an 8-lane highway. See, like that's a 2-lane road right there. That's a regular sized road. Look at that road. It's 4 lanes easily. It's very easy to tell that heavy infrastructure is designed to move here. See the big radius on the corners, and see the area where there should be a median but there isn't, because it's painted over. You know why? That's designed in case they need to turn the stage around. That's what these pieces, that's what this big parking lot and everything is for. It's to turn stuff around. See, like a Y in railroading, same idea. Also big shuttle. So, see, look, it's just a random 8-lane road, or 4-lane road right there. See that? It's not an accident. You see the same thing right here. So that tells me that something heavy is coming in here. I don't know what it is. Or they're making a pathway to get starships out of the big freaking factory that they're building over there. And then they have those huge freaking doors right there. Jack said in the video that they're designed to move fairings in there. That's it's possible. Yeah, I would say that's right. That is a very oblong shaped door compared to like regular garage doors. Like that is a people hole. No, that's just a regular door for people. That's one for tractor trailers, right? And then that's a big heavy industrial door. That's like a 20-foot door. Those ones also seem to be about 20 feet. What's 20 feet? Like 6-7 meters, something like that. But they're also very wide, which is very interesting. Speaking of fairings, when is the first flight of those bigger Falcon 9 Falcon Heavy fairings? I don't know. Haven't heard anything about that, Signer, to be honest with you. But yeah, see? big wide freaking road right here. Same idea. I have a theory that they're gonna move starships across this berm right here and then move them down here and then out. But I don't know for sure. Big doors for the flatbed freight. Yeah, that one right there. The real question is, what are they gonna be putting in here? Or not? What are they gonna use that for? What about that road at the top towards the VAB, the 10-meter wide road? At the top towards the VAB, the 10-meter wide road. This right here? What do you think? What do you think? You're talking about this road. Where does that road lead? That big heavy infrastructure leads right to the SLF. And that big heavy road is also connected into all three of the former orbiter processing facilities. And then you have a very wide radius right here, and that just leads right into the VAB transfer aisle. What do you think that road's for? They can bring the shuttles in that way if they want to. Is that what you were talking about? Above Hangar X, running parallel to the highway. Oh, that road. I don't know. Yeah, that's a mystery. I'm not sure why they're extending that road. So, fellas, this road right here. Phil's talking about that one. See that road? They're expanding that road. That's this road right here. So here, let's go all the way over here like that. See? They're expanding that road all the way, from what I can tell, all the way to here. I'm not sure. That's a mystery. That road, though, I will tell you, is not a random 3-lane road either, though. See how the road for Falcon 9s, to move Falcon 9s in here, see? Another random 3-lane road. Same exact thing. See, another just weird 3-lane road for whatever reason. But yeah, see, they're grading the parking lot in that picture. See? Heavy subgrades. And then they seem to be doing the same thing over here, but yeah. Interesting. It's worth noting that one side of the highway is 3 lanes because it's for, drum roll, heavy traffic. I gotta sneeze. It's turbo. Turbocharger. Yep. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I'm not sure why they're extending that road like that. I don't know. Thank you, chat. Yeah, see. Interesting, 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 interesting. Yeah, see, this is an older picture, but that's what it looks like now. A Y predominant, why? Jake break. Like that? Could be Sun Temple, yeah. Look at that, dude. They're already building out the damn tower segments. And one of them has the stop, as Jack pointed out in the video. I'll post it in chat, Creeper. There you go. I thought you wanted me to post this.
Gary, you're getting a lot faster.
You're Getting a lot faster. It is 10, yeah. That road is in the general direction of 49, but the VAB is literally in the sight line in the way. That's right, short line. I think so. The way they're staging this all up. Yeah. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Huh. They're almost finished burning off all the brush right there. See that? Also, whoever's doing the grading work literally has a 5-ton truck. Mill surplus 5-ton truck moving the dirt around because awesome. Now, see that contractor? That contractor fricks, all right? That contractor's the one doing all the frickin'. Getting all the contracts, you know what I'm saying? Writing checks, snapping necks. What? 5-ton truck, baby. That's really cool. Hang on. You got a picture? Oh, yeah. Apparently that segment has the piping already. Pipe? Pipping? Hey, there it is. Nice. Why so many construction stands? Oh, of course, we have two theories. There's two prevailing kind of theories as to why they're building so many of these right here. One of them is that they're trying to manufacture the whole pad in sub-assemblies as quick as they can. And the other one is that they're going to build multiple pads. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. I really don't. It's anybody's guess. Yeah, Killer Fun, maybe. Yeah. They could O-Force, it's possible. That's the other theory. The other theory is that they're going to build multiple pads, and this is just going to be the pad assembly area from now on. Is that a contract construction truck? What? Was? It's like assembling IKEA furniture, guys, just bigger. Okay, now let's see. Why don't we check out the Starship footage for the day? How many segments did it take to build the one in Texas? The one in Texas is 9. 9 segments, 04. Sorry, sounded like a nice tongue twister. Oh, okay. Nice.
Discovery, go at throttle.
No, I didn't fall for it. I know we went through the plans for Roberts Road. Was there any plans for some big buildings? Of course there was. Yeah, man. The 300,000 square foot construction facility with a possibility of 150,000 square foot expansion. Yeah. Yeah, of course there was. All right, so I think we have 3 videos here to watch. Let's see what we got. So this footage, as the last footage, is also coming from NASA spaceflight. Let's see what we got. Mary took this and the NSF robots for Starbase Live. Oh yeah, I see the conduits in there, Creeper. Nice. Yeah, they're gonna build one of these. See this? That's what they're trying to build in Florida right now. This thing. I think it's 24 and 8 short line. I think ship 24 and booster 8 are going to be the ones that fly. I don't think 7 is going to fly. It's already on the pad, but it's missing a lot of parts. They just used it for fueling tests. I don't know, T-Man. I don't know. Booster 7 is in the can crusher right now. Yep, there's Ship 24's nose cone. There's the aft segment of Ship 24. That's my guess, Shaw. Ship 24 tank section leaving the high bay? Bum 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 bum. Get the frick up. If you get it, you get it. Alright. Throw your chopsticks in the sky. Super Heavy's in the back getting can't crushed. What's up? Starship, flap your wings. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. Flap your wings. What? It works, okay? So that's 20 and 4 right there. 4 on the left, 20 on the right. They've been kind of sitting there. They moved SN20 over to pad B, though. That's very peculiar. What I don't understand is why there's no flame bucket for Super Heavy. I think they put it up high enough up off of the ground. Blueland, there are cases if you put the rocket high enough up off of the ground that you don't need a deflector. A case in point. Now, I mean, to be fair, they probably, I don't know, man. I don't think that's the same. I don't think Super Heavy is that far off of the ground. And also, to be 100% fair with you, Super Heavy has probably like 6 times the thrust of this. So I'm not sure if this thing, like, even if Super Heavy was this high up off the ground, it still has 6 times the amount of gas moving down. So I'm not sure. Also, shameless plug for the milk stool. That was genius. Such a good idea. Why don't we just move the rocket up there? It's not, the launcher isn't tall enough. The umbilicals won't line up. All right, so put it on a freaking stool. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know, Blue. Maybe SpaceX knows something that we don't. I don't know. It's a rocket high chair. That's right. I mean, see, that one is too. But I'd be curious to measure the heights here. So, is this height similar to the milk stool? I don't think so. So, like, let's just take Like, I would be curious to see the height between, like, right here and right here. You know what I mean? What's the height difference between here and here? Is that height difference the same as from there to there? But even if it is, this has 50 plus, no, what did you say? Like 70 meganewtons of thrust? Saturn 1B has like 15. Yeah, it has like, this thing has like 6 times the thrust. So I don't know if that's correlative. Like, is there just a distance no matter what the amount of gases you have? Like, that doesn't sound right. Or is there like a set standard? I don't know. You know, like, you just have an accumulation pond underneath a rocket to absorb the brr. Yeah. I don't think that firing gases into a liquid is a good idea, Swishio. I mean, NASA was talking about how there's that whole anti-geysering thing. And hydraulics are incompressible, and when they're being compressed by a lot of gas, they go all over the place. They'll go where you don't want it. That'll damage things even more. Needs a banana for scale. I don't know why it chromas out. This is yellow. The back is green. Sea launch worked, though. Sea launch had a deflector, dude. Yeah, here, look. Sea launch has a deflector built into the design. It didn't just shoot right down into the water. I'm trying to see if we can get a good picture of it. See the deflector right there? It looks like the OLT is about 20-ish meters tall. Sorry, my middle mouse button is starting to not work. What you want to know about that? I've been in the boat and the launcher. There's deflectors down there, isn't it? What mouse do you use? Death Adder Elite. Predominant. I put this Death Adder through its paces, man. Look at this thing. Look at the buffed surfaces on the mouse, dude. From where my fingers are on it. Look at that thing. That thing's seen some use, dude. Dude, we buffed the surface of it with my damn fingers. Oh my goodness. It still works. Why change it? Yeah, and the launcher is a 1960s Erector from USSA. USSA. Interesting. Have you worn a hole into the side with your thumb? It should tell you everything you need to know. Basically, yeah. Dude, I don't know when I've had that Death Adder. Let me put it this way. I bought that Death Adder from Best Buy. I have not worked at Best Buy. I bought it when I worked at Best Buy. I haven't worked at Best Buy since September of 2015. Do you guys want to see the mouse that's on my other computer while we're here? Who knows? Who knows? If you know, you know. If you know, then you know. If you don't know, then you don't know. I got a 518 on my second computer. Do you want to see the keyboard that I use on the second computer? The wire is not cooperating. Here we go. If you know, then you know. I might be dating myself a little bit, but if you know, then you know. If you know, then you know. It's a Death Adder, and then I have an MX5. That's an MX580. It's a newer version of an MX518, and then I have a G15 Mark II on my second computer. My main keyboard, the one that you guys hear, the clickety-clack one, is a DOS Keyboard Professional. And I've had it since 2011, and it has never failed me. Not even once. Yep, you're definitely dating yourself. That's alright. You can replace that Death Adder for $40. I don't see the need to. If the middle mouse button is starting to go, it's just dust. There's just dust in there. You just got to clean it out. Hit it with some compressed air. It'll blow it out. Drew on your monitor to no scope, but who you know. Yeah, see, they took booster 7 off and they put it on the can crusher right there. Yeah, MCP. Yeah, stuff gets jammed up in the buttons. Yeah, I still have a G15 Mark I at my parents' house. I don't know if it works. We should go get it. It has the flip up screen and stuff, dude. Man, that thing is like. How old is that? How old would a G15 Mark I be? 2002? 2003, maybe? Like, oh my god. Next time I go over to my folks, I'll grab my Mark I. Yeah, I have a G15 Mark I with the huge macro keys on the side, dude. And I also have an IBM Model M over there. Yeah, you heard that right. Plugged into the AutoStream. The automotive streaming computer that's in the garage. IBM Model M. 2004. Jeez. Yeah. Real Model M. It's a real one, too. I'll show you guys that sometime. It's freaking awesome, dude. PS2 connection and everything. Yeah, that's right, Buck. The M stands for murder. You could kill somebody with. Dude, that thing is heavy. It's a heavy keyboard. Dude, I love it, Rizik. I love it. It sounds like a typewriter. Just forget the cap, blue caps, right cap. No. Model M. Love that noise. Probably 50 pounds of lead in it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Anyway, I still have my original IBM keyboard from my IBM PC2 in 1984. It's in plastic back home. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Model M is a relic. They will last. They will survive the apocalypse. I love those keyboards. Me and my buddies growing up called IBM Model M's the Cold War keyboard because it sounds like a typewriter. It sounds like something that'd be hooked into a Titan II missile silo or something. Yeah, Rizik, right? For the keyboard connect via PS2 port? Yeah, Gagan, it has a PS2 port. Yep. That's cool, Tim. Neat. Okay, so this is the dynamic test stand. We called it the Dingle Bop because we couldn't figure out what it was. They're putting this on a dynamic test stand, which is basically a big hydraulic press for the stage. It's used for dynamic load testing. Actually, it's dynamic longitudinal load testing. So basically, they're going to put a cap on top of booster number 7 here, and they're going to tie it to a bunch of hydraulic jacks down here, and they'll pull down on the cap, and it'll crush the booster. Hopefully it doesn't blow it up, but... Oh. They're tracking the Axiom 1 mission. How about that? Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. That one's like, nah, never mind. And that one's going to go zip right here in a second. Ready? Oh, it didn't. Can I see that one more time? Oh, that's so legit, dude. The other one didn't. Zip. That's pretty cool, huh? Look at the nose cone, man. Hexagons is Bestagons. Right? Not it's like you saw a cat. Nice. T-Man, that was sped up. Way sped up. Where are they moving the nose cone? Oh, relocating to the high bay. Thank you, NASA Spaceflight. Hey, Shuts. What's going on, man? Any idea what the arrangement of 6 tiles on the belly of the nose cone is for? I'm not sure. There's a moon up there, though. No, Hokey, I'm not 100%. Mun. We'll be up there sooner rather than later. Ah, high bay construction elevator is gone. That's no moon. It's a moon. It's too big to be a moon. What? My boat. Clean your fur, for frick's sake. Oh boy. That's an alien megastructure according to that new movie Moonfall. We don't talk about Moonfall. It's just like Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore. We don't talk about Moonfall. Okay? Yeah. We don't talk about Moonfall. No. Payload bay. Payload bay segment. Guys, look. Kerbal mouth. Ah! It does look like a Kerbal mouth. Okay, that's weird. Don't mention that again, dude. Don't do that. Payload bay. What the frick, man? I'll try, maybe. Это не хорошо. Yes. Yeah. This is not good. This is not good. Hey, weather guy, what's going on? That's the Pez dispenser. Yeah, at least that's what we think. Right? Oh, hang on. Give me 1 second, dudes. I got realtor stuff. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll share. I'll share. I won't share the whole thing, but it's not pre-approval. We're already pre-approval, but you know that house that they decided to take to market here. The sellers have advised all offers should be reviewed after the deadline next Tuesday. If your clients wish to resubmit their offer, do so by 4/19 on Tuesday. Huh. So, okay, let me explain that. The realtor that's selling the house that Primo and I put an offer on, like a week and a half ago, reached out to our realtor. Yeah, realtors, they do that. The seller realtor reached out to our realtor and said, hey, we're going to be reviewing all offers. This is after they took the house to market. We're going to be reviewing all offers. So if you want to, resubmit your offer, go ahead and tell us. It sounds like they took the thing to market and didn't get what they were looking for. They might be fishing for a higher offer. They're not getting a higher offer from me, weather guy. In fact, I think we should go down with the offer. Yeah. I'm gonna knock 25 G's off of my offer. I think that's what I should do. They rejected my offer. Now it's off the table. It's that simple. I'm not playing this game. Yeah. We'll go back at them with a lower offer. You are savage. Jax, I don't play. Dude, it clicked in my head that this is like buying a car. It's like buying a car. And guess what? I study car prices literally on the daily. I know how to wheel and deal. I'm pretty damn good at it. Had a penny of disrespect. Clearly my offer wasn't good enough. And now you want that offer back. Oh, that's funny. That's funny how that works. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably gonna lowball it and they're gonna be like, frick you, get out of here. Yeah, Shuts, that's a good point. Why do you own that many crap cars? Because I wanted them. This is the home that kind of looks like the one in my summer car. It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. It's not the same. Like, if you went around looking for it, you wouldn't be able to tell. It's a seller's market, though. Yeah, Scro, that's a good thing to take into account. But they were highballing this price. As far as they're concerned, it's only April, bro. They know the ball is in your court. It's not even house season yet. Yeah. I watched a streamer fall asleep with a lit cigarette on MSC earlier today. Oh, that's so bad. Take your offer down by $1 just despite them. You're still giving yourself a decent chance to get in. Well, Creeper, if we could... Yeah, maybe. That sucks, Magellan. But yeah, that's, yeah, sorry. If the realtor sends me something, I'll, yeah, it's important to respond. So, hey, maybe that one's back up on the table. We don't know for sure, dudes. Maybe. That would be really nice. I took from that message that you read that you should potentially offer more. Are you sure they meant the other way? Yeah, Dado, I'm pretty sure. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure I should go down with the price, but I'm not sure I should keep it the same. I don't think we should go up. They said they're reconsidering all offers after they rejected a pretty damn good offer from Brimo and I. It's a pretty damn good offer. And now they brought the house to market, I don't know, like a week and a half ago, and they're already considering all offers now. Like, I don't know why they would do that. That means they took it. Data, what that tells me is that they took it to market. They didn't get the price they thought they were going to get for it. That's what that tells me. Yeah, access. Yeah. That's so. So that if what I think is going on is what I think is going on, I'm gonna knock 25 G's off my asking price. Cause screw them. I'm not in any rush to move. Is it a private seller? No. So what do you mean private seller? Like, yeah, it's people selling the house. It's a residential sale. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I'm not like totally up on my real estate game, but yeah, Canuck, that's right. Someone backed out of that offer. You think so, Shadow Man? Yep. Yeah, Foz, stuff goes real quick on the market nowadays. There's a lot of purchasing power, so people have a lot of money, and there's not a lot of inventory because nobody's moving. Meaning you're not buying from a corporation. No, I'm not. No, they have a realtor. They have a realtor. Spoon, it's on a fair bit of land, dude. Fair bit. Did they reject your offer or counter? They rejected it outright, Daryl. We offered them before the house went on the market, and they said, no, we want to take the house to market. They did not counter, which that tells me that they thought that they could get more. And then they're reconsidering all their offers now after being on the market for 10 days. Guys, I'll be honest with you. 10 days on the market is a long time. That's a long time nowadays. Seriously, houses go in 2 days nowadays. That's how crazy it is. Brimo and I toured a house that went on the market. We toured it. This was not this house, but another house. We toured it the day it went on the market on like a Friday. It was gone by Monday. And that house was the one with 60 amp fuses. Sure, it was. Yeah, go ahead. I just need perms from a moderator. If there's any mods out there, can we get perm for Edel? Yeah, so 10 days on the market is like a century. That's a long time, dude. They have a real estate agent, Zeppelin, yeah. 60 amp fuses, Synerd. A 60 amp fuse house on an acre and a half of land went for like, dude, I don't know what it ended up going for, like 580 G's. I'm like, what in the absolute frick? But yeah, that's how crazy it is, man. Housing market I'm about to get into has a flat listed in the morning and gone in a couple of hours. That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that's Primo's not remote. That's a little ways away, Creeper, yeah. Yeah, Dado, I think that's the right move. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'll talk to my realtor again in a little bit. I might need to take another break before Tarkov, but yeah. Housing market in Canada is completely out of control. It's nuts here too. Yeah, it's nuts everywhere, guys. It's nuts everywhere. Everyone's, yeah, it's bananas right now. COVID really screwed that whole thing up, dude. What can you do? But everybody's telling me it's better to get into real estate sooner rather than later. The quicker, the second you can do that, you should do it regardless. Because you can always refinance, you can change the rates, etc., you know. Yeah, stream chat, it's nuts. Yeah, Port, glad you got in. Yep. Are you looking inside or outside of 128? Between 495 and 128, Plodicus, I cannot afford a house inside of 128. No way. It's not happening, dude. Go look at the prices on Zillow. Inside of 128, you will be like, hey, no. And I'm in an apartment inside of 128 right now. It is not happening. Yeah, that's not happening. Let me see, Hellfish. Nice. I like the one with the recoilless cannon on it. That's cool. So, yeah. Yeah, that's right, Shuts. Yep. It's a crazy process, dude. So, I got a line on one Plodicus that's inside of 495. It's closer to 128 than it is to 495. I got a line on one. It's close. It's not the biggest house. It's not the best house, but it's got a garage and it's got a decent amount of land. Dude, I'm jumping. You gotta jump. It's not the house. It's not necessarily the house that I'm looking for, but you gotta jump on that out of principle. 128 is Boston's inner beltway. Hired. I've talked about it many times when explaining how not to design roads, and use Boston as an example of how not to design roads when we're playing cities. Yeah. You remember how I always Hired? You've been here for this. Remember how I said Boston was supposed to have 3 beltways? Well, they straight up just didn't build the inner beltway. They started to build it, and then everyone's like, no, you can't do that. And then they voted against it, right? So they canceled that project, so that's good. No inner beltway. And then the mid beltway has a federal highway going around the city, because they wanted to build a federal highway that went right into Boston and terminated in Boston. And then they said, no, you can't do that. I don't want a highway in my backyard. That's not cool. So, yeah, 95 stops at Boston's, what would have been Boston's mid-beltway, right? And, yeah, so we have 95, 128. That's the mid-beltway. Locals call it 128, and it's really easy to spot somebody that's not from around here because they call it 95. It's not 95, it's 128. You're incorrect. Antochka, what's going on? What is there outside of the beltways? The prices are fair, Hellfish, outside of the beltways, but the houses really aren't that good. They're all super freaking old. They're all super old and they need a lot of work because they're out of the beltway. But it'll... Hey, all right. Let me see these pictures here. It looks like you... Oh, yeah, subs. There you go. Cool. North or South Shore. Snow, I'm looking anywhere between 495 and 128 around all of Boston. Basically from, like, Plymouth all the way up to Gloucester. I'm looking anywhere in that kind of C-shaped belt. I'm looking anywhere in there. Let me see, Edel. Let me see these pictures. Hey, you got a picture with Tim. That's cool. And Joe. Sweet. Hey, Jesse was there too. Yo, hang on. Before we jump back into Starship stuff, Edo, can I show these on stream? Is that cool? You cool with that? Yeah, Hellfish, bingo. I can write off some of the mortgage guys because I work from home. You can do that if you have a business, you know. Yeah, go for it. All right, cool. So this is from Yuri's night over the weekend. It's a big party to celebrate the first person in space. It's at Endeavor at the California Science Center. Timmy. And then there's Joe. Hell yeah. And then Jesse. Word. That's cool. Cyan Proctor was there. Well, that's pretty neat. Wow. That looks like it was a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun, if I do say so myself. Cool. Anyway, that's awesome. You must be pumped. Tim's a cool dude, isn't he? A cool dude. Wish I could hang around with him more. I was really surprised to meet them all. Right on. Can I send a link to a more refined explanation of the RFA engine? Yeah, Jock, just get perms from one of the mods. Just looked at Boston prices and wow. Geeson, it's not Chelsea bad, but it's almost that bad. Yeah. It's not Chelsea bad, but it's almost that bad. Yeah, sucks, man. I can't live in my hometown. I would need to make like ninja money to live here, dude. Nope. That's not happening. Unless I hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of fun, did you see Cleater is doing a Cletus in Cars at Bristol? I didn't, but that's really cool, Spoon. Yeah. I haven't watched a new Cleater video, man. I spent literally my entire weekend just sitting there lying down with a heating pad on my neck going, I hope this goes away, I hope this goes away. Have you tried just becoming Ninja, Fivehead? I don't know, man. What can we do with space stuff that everyone's gonna like? You know, like it's kind of niche stuff, but you know, whatever. If you stream twice as much, you can earn twice as much. Who knows? Anyway, so let's see where that payload-based segment goes. Oh, look at the diesel. Look at the... Oh, yeah. The diesel. The truck is sweet. Egg. Car. Egg. Car. Have you tried just printing more money, Fivehead? Spoon? Yeah? It's all right. I don't know, Hellfish. I'd have to really kind of start pushing it, dude. Once again, like on break or something, I don't really have a problem with that. I got to get into a habit of doing it. You take the GMC? All right, you can have that. That's fine. It's a fair truck. I wouldn't judge you for having that. Much. Yeah, I know, Shuts. You see that thing? It's just on a freaking trailer. You'd rather have a Ford Dilly? Good man. Your ideal car is a 97 Toyota Corolla. Geo Metro. Geo Metro? Geo Metro. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Geo Metro. Come on. Geo Metro. Geo Metro is too small. It's the same car! It's the same thing, man. Whatever the Geo equivalent of the Corolla is, I forget what it's called. Geostorm is better. There's the tail service mast umbilical right there. I don't know, Signer. I'm not sure. So this is 7 on the Can Crusher right here. Go faster! I can't, it's a Geo! Guy's putting up some scaffolding right there. 24's nose cone has been attached to the payload section. Woo woo! Nice, Badger. Yeah, how much? Did you buy it? Tell me you bought it. Cool. All right, we got a couple more here. That was that one. There's the NSF live cast, and we watched that one over here. So let's peep these two, and then yeah, see where we go from there. 67 GTO. I mean, Shuts. That's an admirable car. You know what one of my favorite muscle cars is, dude? Believe it or not, the 1973 Ford Falcon XB. The Beast, man. Yeah, I like that car a lot. Those are cool. I want one. I can't afford one, but I want one. .240, 3rd Gen Camaro. These are all nice cars, yes. Take a Thunderbird, also. Offloading more commodities here. Look at that. If you can't afford one, you clearly can't a Chevy one. Bless you. A Rivy. Dave. Rivy with the 65 Rivy with the clamshell headlights. Now we're talking. Time for a work-paid vacation. What's up, Devlin? Yeah, they got rid of the whole fence. No, Swishy. No, dude. No. I appreciate it. Thank you, but no. Going to the Cape for a week? Word. Yeah, you see the little baby crawler crane, baby telescoping? Here, I'll take care of it. Jock, are you still here? There you go. Oh, hi Thomas, what's new with you? Cat eye. Oh, it's Rusty. No, not the cat eye. There's the big boy crane. It's still a Datsun. Flight when? Still waiting on the draft PEA. The FAA extended it until the end of April, Chem. But that's okay. I don't think the pad and the vehicles or anything are ready. SpaceX is ramping like crazy in Florida, dude. They have 4 tower segments built in Florida already for the next orbital launch tower, for the next set of chopsticks, which is pretty nuts to me, dude. Yeah, they're making good progress, man. Ramping somewhat is an understatement. Yeah, Devlin, dude, I saw how many pilings they drilled out there for that frickin' thing, man. Like, okay. Hey, Jackery, what's going on? Do you think they will launch a KSC first or Starbase? Starbase first. But, Kem, I honestly think that, dude, at the rate that they're going at, so taking into account how fast they build Boca Chica's launch pad, which is literally one of the most complicated launch pads ever. I think the only thing that's more complicated would be like the mobile launcher, maybe, because the launch pad freaking moves, right? But this thing catches things, right? Like it's supposed to catch things. It's supposed to integrate all together. It's a VAB and a mobile launcher, like kind of combined into one, right? I honestly think with how fast they built the one in Boca Chica and how fast they're building the one down the Cape, I think the Cape pad is going to be done by the end of the summer. Judging by like what I'm looking at here, I'm thinking by the end of August, dude, that pad's finished. The one at 39. I think it's done, if you really want my honest opinion. Time to put some hands on hardware? My guy. Like, I think we will have a Starship launch from the Cape by the end of this year and Boca Chica at the same time. Because even if the PEA goes through, they're really only limited to 10 launches out of Boca Chica a year. 10 orbital flight attempts with like 10 more launches for like testing. So I think Boca Chica is really going to become the research and development site, Kem. And this isn't my personal theory. This is kind of the gist of what everybody's getting. I think Boca Chica is going to become like an R&D site for testing new starships and whatnot. Like think like Edwards Air Force Base was testing planes and whatnot, and they tested the shuttle there and whatnot. And I think that the Cape is the one that's going to be seeing like routine service. Yeah. I think that 2023, SpaceX will start launching, if they don't do it by the end of this year, SpaceX will start throwing Starlink payloads on Starship to get some good flight data on it. In fact, I think that the first Starship orbital test will be carrying Starlink satellites on it, if I'm looking at this right. No way they will be ready in the Cape in 8 months. No chance. Okay. We'll see. We'll see by the end of the year, dude. Yeah, no problem, Kim. Yeah. Well, not White Sands, but Tex Sands. Yes. Why do they... What do they do with the old engines of old prototypes? Do they destroy them? They recycle them, yeah. Enigma. Yep. I seriously think that's what's going to happen. I still trust you more than anybody else on TLDR for Starship. Try, man. I try. And Devlin, I'm really wondering what that big concrete pad that's behind Roberts Road is for. The one that's next to the loading dock. Why you got a big concrete pad there? What are you going to do with that? I'm talking about the one with the 3 big condensers on it. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? What's going on there? What you doing there? Yeah. Smaster, you didn't miss anything, don't worry. How can they do that much in the Cape in 8 months? I'm not talking about the pad, I'm talking about manufacturing. They wouldn't. So when I say launch from the Cape, Galaxy, I think they would produce the Starship in Boca Chica and then move it to the Cape. Yeah, all the infrastructure is there to do that already. Port of Brownsville is a heavy dock. They can move starships right to it. They can move starships right to the heavy dock, and then they can unload starships and super heavies at the turning basin at Complex 39. Take them right to the pad. I don't think the manufacturing complex will be up by the end of the year. I think the pad will, and they can just transport it by barge. Work for Apollo, work for shuttle, work for SLS. Why not? All the infrastructure's there already. That's right, T-Man. Okay, Vulcan. I think you guys missed the point where I said I think that this pad will be done, and this is very much my opinion on things. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't give a frick that people disagree, but when I say I think the pad's going to be ready by the end of this year, and people say, man, it's 1.1.5 years out, like, yeah, all right, you can think that. That's fine. I think that's different. I think differently. I think it's going to be done by the end of the year. And don't get me wrong. I'm not usually one to default to that. Well, that's just your opinion, man. No, I mean, people ask for my opinion. I give my opinion. My opinion might be wrong. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, dudes? But please remember that I'm not reporting this as news. I'm saying that this is what I think. So, and yes, I do think that pad's going to be done by the end of the year. Well, launch by the end of the year. I think it's going to be done in the summer. I really do. With how fast they're scaling. And you can say, oh, it's going to be a little time. Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fair. Probably right. Oh, okay, no. That's what I say not to do, but all right. First grab by the chopsticks at Boca, though. It'll happen this year. Of course, Avatarson, yeah. He has a portal gun, man. How many starships do they have now? 20, 22, and 24 is being built right now. 20 is at Pad B, 22 is with 15 and 16 in the lawn ornament pile. There's 20 right there. And then 24 is being assembled. Kem, 24 has the payload bay in it, dude. But it's not the payload bay how you might think. It has a... Alright, where are we? We're at 656 here. Take a look. See if we can find a picture of it. The payload bay is a little slit on the side. It looks like a mailbox almost. And from what we can extrapolate, it looks like they're going to have a stack of Starlink satellites in it. And it's just going to go down, 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 down. And they're just going to zip it out like a little disc launcher. Like, you know, the pneumatic disc launchers. It's like literally that. How many Starlinks still need to be launched? I don't know. They're gonna make it rain like a Pez dispenser, like. Yeah, dude, it looks like a mailbox. I'm serious. It looks like a mailbox. Methane transfer tube right there. That's pretty sweet. Footage from the roll. Let me see. Yeah, here. Let me show that footage real quick. Kim, look at this. Peep this, man. Okay. Frickin' mailbox. Look. What, do you think I'd steer you wrong? It's a frickin' mailbox. Yeah, Shuts is right. You can move this around on caster wheels, whatever. Yeah, freaking caster wheels, you're right. Yeah. So this thing is just gonna slide back, right? And it's just Can... Wait a minute. What the frick? It's Bender! It's Bender! It's Bender! Yes! Awesome! It looks like Bender's head. Look at it, it looks like Bender's head. That's awesome. Remember me! Remember me! Yeah, you're missing the other parts. It looks like Bending Rodriguez. Bite my shiny metal keister. Remember me? It looks like Bender. Can we just call Ship 24 Bender from now on? I am Bender. Please insert girder. Bite my dull, heat-resistant butt. All right. Anyway, let's finish up the last Starship video. Elon said I'm going to make my own space program with blackjack and rockets. That's right. Full reality when it's going to be around the moon. Yes, that's right. Oh my god, I can't, dude. I saw it, I'm like, what does that look like? That looks like Bender's oh god. Truck. Wait, did we get truck? Hold on, truck. Any good trucks? Any good pickings in the parking lot? There's a 98 over there. That's nice. Explorer Sport Track. Yeah. Tacoma. F-150 Extended Cab. Yeah, there's not really good pickings. There's an Avalanche over there. Not really good pickings. There's a bar up there, JDI, to be honest. That's, Chem, look at that. That's their new bulkhead. Yeah, SpaceX is prototyping out a new bulkhead that's made like the nose cone. Glass floor is a bar. Oh my gosh. I don't think they're going to merge into one crew, no. Dodge. Yeah. Fuck, I know. It's so funny, dude. Elon backed out of being on Twitter's board of directors because that means he has to abide by a code of conduct. That's really funny, man. Yeah, Killer Fun, I'm with you on that one. They're lost, bruh. It really is. You sense a hostile takeover? You think so, Draco? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? And he'd be limited to 14.9 ownership. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that, dude? Alright. Look at that methane transfer tube right there. That's a guy walking right there. That guy walks. Yeah, that's what's going inside of the LOX tank shuts. Get the methane down to the Raptors. Hey, do you like the sax? The saxophone? Yeah, that's alright. Aren't we all just methane transfer tubes? Gaseous methane transfer tubes. God, my friend applied for a job hanging mirrors. When I asked him why that job, he said, I can really... He said, I can really see myself doing it. Nah, yeah, something to reflect on. Why? Chat, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Why are you the way that you are? What the hell's wrong with you? Alright. Yeah, I already watched the flyover vid, yeah. TTT better be Tuesday trains. I'm going to play Railroads tomorrow for early hours. But it's time for Tuesday Tarkov with Taradra. Guys, I did some homework. By homework, I mean playing Tarkov. And I got level 15. So that means I can engineer my own firearms now. I don't need to just buy whatever. House thing was by the end of today. No, the 19th, Foz. The 19th. So we do have some time. Does that mean you can look at this now? What is this? Let me take a look. So, that's all I got for you for Space News. We're going to start up Tarkov here in a second. And guys, it's actually really neat. So in Tarkov, you can like engineer your own guns. It's not engineer your own guns, but you can like outfit your guns and kit it out with different pieces that make it better. It's actually really cool. Like, it's like kind of Kerbal. Like you have a bunch of different parts, and you can make guns and stuff. It's pretty rad. Like you can make AK based stuff, or I mean, I'll show you what I cooked up. First gun I ever made. I'll show you. Yeah. Panta, what is this? Let me see. An AKMN 762 by 39. Oh, jeez. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's a nice piece of kit, though. Damn. So tomorrow for early hours we'll do railroads. Railroads and summer car tomorrow. Yeah. Giga Chad Mosen.